Hey everybody, welcome to the Canary Cry News Talk live stream. Pre-stream, we're doing it. It's Friday. Congratulations everybody for making it another week. We're excited to be alive. We're excited to be here and excited to be doing the show. And we hope you are excited to be here as well. Now, if you've been tuning in over the past few episodes, you know we are quickly approaching episode 500. And we've been scrambling around trying to figure out how to celebrate such an occasion, and I'm going to let you know how we're going to do that right now. Now, we did get some feedback, and people want a roundtable special, so we will be running an episode 500 roundtable special for those of you who have been hoping to hit knight or dame, or maybe you've never thought about it before, but this is a nice time to get a big old discount. We will be running an episode 500 $500 knight or dame special for a one-time producership of $500. You will instantly be knighted or damed at the Canary Cry Roundtable of Knights and Dames, which is very exciting, and, you know, 50% discount, which is nice. Now, that's not all, folks. We are also creating right now the Canary Cry News Talk episode 500 commemorative challenge coin. That's right. We are putting together a beautiful looking challenge coin to commemorate 500 episodes. And here's the deal, folks. 500 episodes, that's a big deal for any podcast. And we can't believe it. We're old men now, the old men in the podcast. And we wanted to put together something cool to commemorate that, not just for us or not just for some sort of promo gimmick or something, but we really, you know, doing 500 episodes is not just about us, you know, cracking the whip and busting our butts to do these 3 times a week. It really, just as much credit goes to the producers. We could not do the show. We could not have made it this far if it were not for the value for value producers of the show. They are just as important as Gons and I, and that's why we even put you on the logo. That's right. You guys are the little arrow between the katana and the Viking axe. So, number one, you can come in with $500 anytime between now and episode 500. That's next Wednesday. And you will instantly be knighted or damed, as well as receiving the episode 500 commemorative challenge coin. But that's not all, because we understand that dropping $500, it's not for everybody, you know. I mean, some people may be able to do that, and God bless them. But for those who do not have the cash, or that's out of reach to do all at once, we are also extending that knighthood special and the challenge coin to those who pledge to produce the show with $10 per episode through episode 500. Through episode 555. As you know, we usually run a knighthood special on 555. You're welcome to wait until then to become a knight if you want. But if you also want to receive the episode 500 challenge coin, then we'll have a special button. You can pledge on episode 500 to support the show for $10 an episode until episode 555. And that will not only make you a knight or a dame on episode 555, but we will send you the episode 500 challenge coin, because that's when you pledged. So that's a fun thing going on. We'll talk more about it on the show. But speaking of which, I think we should just get started with the show. So stay hydrated and just get pumped. We're doing it.
The world is getting crazier. People are acting more and more insane. The end of the world is tomorrow. Tomorrow. There's only one thing to do when the world is falling apart. Listen to Basil and Gonz as they discuss this week's news and events through the lens of Bible prophecy.
You are listening to Canary Cry News Talk.
You're listening to Canary Cry News Talk. Today we are live to tape on June 17th, 2022. This is episode 498, Apocalyptic Days. And signing on from off the grid, Razzle Dazzle, I'm your best buddy Basil.
And my name is Gons, your favorite Asian provocateur for Christ, a.k.a. the Cabana Boy, podcasting live from California, here to serve you a show that brings you the best news, which is the gospel message of Jesus Christ, while reporting the egregious with a well-rounded, biblically grounded take on world events. I have my shades on today, long story short.
Looking cool.
Glasses are being repaired, so the only prescription things that I have are my shades, but I might fall in love with wearing shades on live.
I mean, it's a cool look, man. It's cool
fun.
Look. It could be your new thing.
Mm-hmm.
Old Gons, the Cabana Boy, cool boy. I mean, it really fits. I like it a lot.
Yeah,
all right.
Thanks.
Well, we're going to be kind of zooming. I've got an extremely hard deadline to get off the show today for me. And if the show's not finished, I'm going to pull the ripcord.
Cabana Boy will finish the show.
Parachute out the back of the plane, and Cabana Boy will land the plane with everybody safely inside. But just giving everybody a little update there in case, just in case. But, Gonzo, you ready to hear about what this show has in store?
Oh, yeah. The music's already rolling.
Oh, yeah. Okay, we're going to be starting out with our lead stories. A collection of truly alarming climate change communications coming from the mainstream. Lots to analyze there. And then, of course, we're going to be checking in with a couple of the four horsemen of the Technocalypse, Bill Gates and Elon Musk, both making waves as usual. Flippy's going to be coming in, showing us just how popular he is. We got a couple AI updates, both with the Google Engineer, which, oh my gosh, just really feeds into the whole narrative there, as well as how AI is being used to terrorize your children in school. We've got a funny little update regarding challenge coins. Not just ours, but challenge coins around the country. And then after the break, we're going to say bid adieu to the YouTubers. Check in on COVID. Of course, what's going on with Anthony Fauci, Rand Paul. Come on, they're always going out at heavyweight battle of the century. Then ending out with some Antarctica at the end of the show. So it's going to be good, Gons. I'm excited. And with that.
Oh,
yeah. With that, let's go. Climate change, baby.
It has begun!
Climate change.
no, wrong jingle.
Of time, man is yearned to destroy the sun. I will do the next best thing. Block it out.
Climate change. Climate change. Climate change.
Mass extinction.
Oh man.
There's a little sprinkle of China in there too. I don't know what's going on. World's falling apart.
Well, everything has a little sprinkle of China nowadays. But
True.
It's so nice hearing Greta's voice again. I miss Greta. All right, so a few things going on. I'm going to start out with this outlet called Grist. We have brought stories from Grist before, but it is not often. They're kind of
It's not Grist.
No, it's Grist.
Okay.
The headline is Summer has transformed. You ready, Gons? Summer has transformed into, quote, danger season. Scientists warn. Sorry, kids. Summer is out. Summer is old news. It's now called danger season. I mean, if there is anything more apocalyptic than changing the name of summer to danger season, I could not.
I mean, the script writers are really just.
It's so good.
Making it scary on purpose.
Doing it. So let me tell you what's going on here. It reads like this. Summer has remained mostly the same for a millennium or more. Around the year 900, Old English speakers were already using the word sumor for the warmer months. Some say the word summer is probably close to the version heard 4,000 years ago, when people spoke the prehistoric Indo-European language, believed to be the ancestor to many languages spoken across Europe and India today. That has nothing to do with anything. It's just a beautiful flavor to start out the article, because next, but summer isn't what it used to be. Oh, you're telling me, Grist. You know, not a kid anymore, man. Summer is totally different. I got emus to take care of. I got to spritz them every morning, keep them cool. Summer isn't what it used to be. The season is getting so hot that it might be time for a new name. Danger season. The phrase, part of a new campaign by the Union of Concerned Scientists, refers to the period from May to October, marked by a drumbeat of disasters in the United States. During these months, people across the country still splash in pools and head to the beach, but increasingly, they also suffer through heat waves, flee from wildfires, breathe smoky air, and board up homes as hurricanes approach. Danger season, guys. Union of Concerned Scientists is a very fun name for an organization.
Yeah, you need problems for this organization to exist. If they run out of problems, then
it's got such an elementary vibe. Mm-hmm. Like, it's very simple. You know, I don't know. There's something simple about it. We are scientists, and we are a bunch of them, and we are concerned.
We're concerned.
That is what our organization is all about. We should start the organization. Or what is it? Union of Concerned Podcasters.
Yeah.
You know, that's not hard. We could start at like a nonprofit.
Except we'll be more transparent. We'll be the Union of Anxiety-Ridden Podcasters.
No, God. Quote, climate change has pushed a lot of these types of events into a new realm that is much more dangerous, said Christy Dahl, a climate scientist at the Union of Concerned Scientists. Quote, so as we were thinking about this season, the Union of Concerned Scientists got together, and they were just sort of thinking about summer. They're just, what do you guys think about summer? And the quote continues, and how we're going to respond to it. The phrase danger season seemed appropriate.
What are you drinking, man? Christy Dahl? What? It sounds
danger
like she's
season, man.
Okay.
It makes so much sense.
All right.
Not very creative.
No,
but, you know,
I'm not
that's
creative
not
either, but it's, I don't know. It just sounds like she's drinking too much and watching a movie or
there's
something.
more. Oh, you think they're drinking too much now? You hold on. Consider, for example,
hold my beer.
That heat kills more people in the U.S. each year, on average, than any other kind of extreme weather, often in predictable ways. Every summer, older adults die in their homes without access to air conditioning, and young athletes die from heat stroke while practicing in searing temperatures. Quote, these sorts of deaths are preventable, Dahl said. They are. Get air conditioning and don't practice in searing temperatures.
Drink water.
That would be my suggestion. But look, I'm not a concerned scientist. I'm a concerned podcaster. She hopes the framing of danger season can better help people grasp summer threats. Quote, because if you understand it, then you can start to do something about it. And this is what I love. Okay? This is scientists getting together and saying, you know what? People don't understand summer. They think they get it, but they don't understand summer. They think it's all popsicles and sitting by the pool, Cabana boy. But no, they don't know it's dangerous. So this language of framing of danger season, this is a linguistic and rhetorical method that they're using.
NLP. Neurolinguistic programming. Program the fear right into the masses by calling it danger season.
And we've seen it over and over and over the past couple years, especially. You know, they just take something normal and they rename it or redefine it or whatever it to suit this sort of alarmist thing. And they literally are admitting, we are trying to alarm you. That's not to say Dahl wants to replace the word summer or take away your ice cream cones or days at the beach. Quote, we struggled a bit with feeling like we're taking away the joy of summer. Oh, no kidding. No kidding, Christy Dahl. I'm glad you thought about that, but I love it because they're like, we struggled a little bit, but we decided we would completely take the fun out of summer because we're concerned scientists. It's possible that a cultural affection for hot weather might make people overlook the season's dangers. But for some, that sunny attitude is already changing. Where Dahl lives in California, as in much of the western U.S., summer means fires, smoke, and comes with an annual sense of dread. Okay, I'm just going to run through some of the summary details because I did some reading of analysis of the hottest.
Also, I'm getting a buzz that's getting louder. I don't know if it's coming from me or from you, but continue.
Oh, interesting. I can't hear it, but I can do something about it. Oh, yeah, something funky is going on. Mm-hmm. Okay, I will attempt to do something about that in a second. So here's the thing. It has been a hot year. It's been a hot year. We can all admit that. However, as is common for all of these super scary climate change records being broken and set, it's always like, oh, it's the hottest time in California ever since 1946. Okay, well, so it was hotter in 1946? Yeah, a lot hotter, actually. Okay, so, but you're saying this is new and doesn't make any sense, and it's climate change, and we all need to ride bicycles instead of driving cars. Yes. Okay, what were they doing in 1946? That was normal. This one is different. Okay, if you say so. You're a concerned scientist. I must listen to you. Also, when it comes to fires, of course, fire season has always been a thing, especially on the West Coast. However, last year, which was like a record-breaking fire season, half of the fires were started by arsonists. They were remember the bear pee drinking shaman woman who set one of the biggest fires.
Yeah, they were wrapping all those barns in tinfoil.
Yeah, and you had the crazy guy what was it? Was it the Dixie fire was set by an arsonist? Like half of the fires were set by arsonists.
We were going to go on vacation, and our vacation spot burned down right before we went, remember?
That's right.
Yeah.
That's right. And I believe that one was an arson too.
Yep.
So, and it's been postulated and conspiracy theorized that, these are arsons. They're always like hippy-dippy eco-warriors setting these fires. That's just the facts.
Yeah.
But it's, the theory is, they're trying to create a disaster. So the Hegelian dialectic, problem, reaction, solution.
Yes.
Anywho, so there's that. The new foreboding name for summer was coined by Erica Spanger-Siegfried. Thank you, Erica. An analyst at the Union of Concerned Scientists. The organization introduced the phrase in a pair of blog posts. And that's where I'm just going to stop on that paragraph, because this was just a blog post, which is awesome. We should start writing blog posts, and maybe we can start renaming things.
We'll write a blog post, and then we'll get a report on the blog post, and we will affect change in the world. Mm-hmm. This is how it works.
Yeah. I'm going to skip a bunch. They kind of make a point about, it's summer, and it's hot, and it's really hot, and then there's a hurricane, and that's scary, but then it's hot right after the hurricane, and so people are trying to make their, rebuild their homes, and it's hot, and they die.
Well, it's scary, and, there's a concern to be had, obviously.
Yeah. Oh,
but
yeah.
Concerns
don't get me wrong.
They stack upon one another, especially if you're a baby. This is The Guardian. Key U.S. baby formula plant closes again as torrential storms cause flooding.
Danger season. That's right. This is the same
killing babies.
This is the same baby formula factory that was closed down because of poor health practices, corruption in the FDA, and ignorance by the Biden administration. They finally got it up and running again. And apparently there's a rainstorm and it flooded. And so, the Abbott Laboratories, the U.S.'s largest baby formula manufacturer, closed down production in its main plant in Sturgis, Michigan on Thursday because of flooding caused by torrential storm.
Kind of interesting that you get called out by the media for all the shenanigans going on in the background, and then a flood causes damage, and their official statement here talks about how they need to assess the damage caused by the storm and clean and re-sanitize the plant. So it's like, oh, okay. All right.
Oh, you want clean baby formula that doesn't kill babies?
You need like a biblical flood to reset the entire factory. That's what this is. But
I don't know. Pretty suspicious.
Very suspicious, but also the unspoken sort of theme here is it's not corruption that's preventing baby food being made and, getting proper baby food into babies' bellies. No, it's climate change.
Yeah.
So
it's not the 6 months that the Biden administration knew about it and ignored it.
Right.
And some might even postulate exacerbated the problem. No. It's rain. It's danger season, baby.
Danger season's killing babies now.
And we also, older adults without air conditioning, young adults playing sports, and a rainstorm at the baby factory. One other little climate change thing here is coming from Washington Post. EPA warns toxic forever chemicals more dangerous than once thought. They changed this headline, and that is not what it used to be, but you'll get the point here. Excuse me. The Environmental Protection Agency warned Wednesday that a group of human-made chemicals found in the drinking water, cosmetics, and food packaging used by millions of Americans poses a greater danger to human health than regulators previously thought, which is not. Let's keep going. The new health advisories for a ubiquitous class of compounds known as a bunch of big sciencey words, or PFAS, underscore the risk facing dozens of communities across the country, linked to infertility, thyroid problems, and several types of cancer. These forever chemicals can persist in the environment for years without breaking down.
Infertility, huh? Interesting.
Yeah, weird. It's like all the things.
It's like it's like they're trying to depopulate the world or something. But that's just crazy talk. I mean, it's just
talks about how the government does not regulate these chemicals. They've actually known about these chemicals for a long time, but the EPA has said that there are safe amounts of them, and it's totally fine. Everybody should be fine. Don't worry about it. And turns out, no, there is zero safe amount of these chemicals that can be taken in. Agency officials assessed two of the most common ones, PFOA and PFOS, in recent human health studies, and announced Wednesday that lifetime exposure, staggeringly low levels of 0.004 and 0.02 parts per trillion, respectively. That's not per million or billion, which is usually how these measurements are. This is per trillion, and compromise the immune and cardiovascular systems.
Oh my gosh.
And are linked to decreased birth weights. I want to get to, it goes into more of those types of numbers. The long story short is that it's horrible and everybody's going to die of these. Oh man, they have changed this article since I first had it. To summarize for you folks, they did tests of 1,900 water supplies across the country and found every single one of these water supplies had unsafe levels of these forever chemicals that will never leave the water supply. And they kind of just stopped because they were like, oh, okay, it is just everywhere and there's nothing we can do about it. And we're just going to assume that it's in everybody else's water as well. And I'm scanning. I think they took that part out of the thing. That is crazy. Wow. Talk about alarmism. It's danger season, and they didn't want to scare people that these chemicals are in pretty much every water supply in the United States.
The EPA should stand for Evil Pagan Associates.
It sounds like a law firm. Have you been injured in a forever chemical attack? Well, call Evil Danger Associates, or whatever you said.
Pagan.
Many so one of these communities was Oscoda, Michigan, for instance, have heeded warnings from state health officials and stopped drinking untreated well water and eating deer hunted near the now shuttered Wurtsmith Air Force Base. So they don't even eat the animals that are drinking the water.
Wow.
You know, because it's a forever chemical. Nothing breaks it down. So if a fish eats it, then you eat the fish, you get it. If a deer drinks it and you eat the deer, then you get it. It's really, really concerning.
You've pixelated to a freeze on the video, which is fun.
All right, I'll come back in a second.
Yeah.
So there you go. That's a long story short. We're kind of we're moving along today, but just know that these chemicals are probably in your water, and there's nothing you can do about it. Now, there are some filtration systems that can be used. However, they are astronomically expensive. You know, to put one of these on one well is like $500,000.
Should have listened to Alex Jones 15 years ago. Bought my water thing.
I know. So, you know, just another reason to go out into the forest and drink water from a bubbling brook. That's my suggestion to you.
Wow, you got to fix your sound too, I guess, because something's buzzing really loud. I don't know. It could
Is
be
it
me.
buzzing still?
I don't know.
Okay.
It could be on my end. I don't know what's happening, but let's just continue here.
Why don't you tell us about the Four Horsemen, and I'll try to fix some things.
The four horsemen of the technocalypse.
Anytime you see the four horsemen, it's something special.
We're taking things that are genetically modified organisms and we're injecting them in little kids' arms. We just shoot them right into the vein, right into the vein, right into the vein.
This is Yahoo News. I believe it is mirroring the Insider, and the headline here is Bill Gates jokes that Microsoft axed Internet Explorer because it ran out of microchips vaccinating everyone.
Oh, that's a funny joke.
Oh, hilarious, Bill Gates.
Funny joke.
It says here, it appears Microsoft co-founder Bill Gates is very much aware of the conspiracy theory claiming he was implanting microchips in people who got the COVID-19 vaccine. On Wednesday, he joked on Twitter that the company had to shut down Internet Explorer because it ran out of microchips vaccinating everyone. Gates was responding to a tweet posted by The Daily Show that joked. He's always joking with a joke. Quote, wow, Bill Gates encourages everyone to get vaccinated. Then a year later, Internet Explorer dies. Coincidence? The microchip vaccine conspiracy theory is a false rumor that the COVID-19 vaccine was implanting a magnetic tracking device somehow connected to 5G mobile networks. I guess that's one version of it.
False.
There were multiple versions of this whole conspiracy theory. But
False rumor. Oh, they love to bring this one up.
They love it. Yeah.
Because nobody believes it in the way that they describe it.
Yeah.
And they love bringing it up because it's a great straw man.
Cody's going to take down the green screen, and the whole show is just going to be one big apocalypse.
Well, we're working through all sorts of problems today. Am I still buzzing?
Yes, but again, could be my end because I got stuff moving around over here
I think
too.
it might be yours.
Okay, all right.
Okay,
let's continue.
Yeah,
so,
keep going.
It just goes on and talk about how Microsoft shut down Internet Explorer. They're not supporting it anymore. And, you know, it's funny because when I first saw this, I was as triggered as probably many of you. You know, look at something like this, you're like, oh, Bill Gates, you know, sort of affirming the bias about hating this man because of all of his dealings with whatever, Epstein and Microsoft and taking over the world and vaccinating people in Africa, whatever, all the reasons you'd have to hate the man. But then I stopped and I was like, wait a minute. They want you to have that reaction. Like they're doing this at a certain point. It's like, okay, they know, like they're joking, but they know it's going to trigger some people. And, you know, once I thought that, I was like, okay, yeah, I'm not going to let that affect me and, you know, move on. But
well, you know, it's funny because it's very reminiscent to Klaus Schwab, sort of, and that other guy bragging about the conspiracy theories about them.
Yeah. Was it Borla from Pfizer?
I forget. It may have, but it's just sort of it's really they think that it's like clever and funny and deflective and stuff, but it's actually really unattractive, Bill Gates.
So there you go. I thought that was interesting that, that he's so out and open about it, which at this point, it's been called out so much that he really doesn't have a choice. But there's another horseman out there doing things.
You are already sort of a cybernetic symbiote. Neural nets are taking over from regular programming. So you are connected.
I was thinking about how the state of the world now is that Elon Musk has become our sort of final line of defense against any kind of a resemblance of a constitutional republic of the United States. Which is like, wow, we're really there, 10 years ago, if you're like, Elon Musk is going to defend freedom, people would have been like, yeah, you're insane. But that's where we are. Elon Musk veered into talking about aliens during his meeting with Twitter employees, telling them he hasn't seen evidence to suggest they're real. This is, again, Business Insider being mirrored on Yahoo. And let me just briefly run through it. Elon Musk,
this old chestnut again.
Yes, Elon Musk has a company, SpaceX, that goes to space. But he hasn't yet seen evidence that there's life out there. At a town hall with the beleaguered staff of Twitter on Thursday to discuss his impending buyout of the company, Musk also touched on the possibility of life outside of Earth. A source who attended told Insider. Musk told Twitter employees how the mission of SpaceX is to, quote, to make life multiplanetary and thus improve the problem lifespan of consciousness. Well, let me read that quote one more time. To make life multiplanetary and thus improve the problem lifespan, maybe he meant the problem lifespan of consciousness. I don't know. He's talking in weird AI now. He discussed the possibility of life outside Earth, but seemed to follow up after saying he hasn't seen, quote, actual evidence for aliens. Quote, can we travel to other star systems and see if there are alien civilizations? He said. There could be, quote, long dead ones out there too, he said. It's already been a pretty out of this world process for his acquisition of Twitter. Gets in his acquisition thing there and how, there's a little saber rattling going on.
So what's the news here? I mean, he's always said this stuff.
I know. It is literally him taking time out of the whole Twitter situation to talk about aliens, which is very strange. It's like they're keeping the aliens in the mainstream consciousness just continually.
It's true.
All
they
this
do
change.
love doing that. Was he prompted, or did he just go off on?
I don't know. I don't know. But the Elon news, it's not just one thing. He's got a lot of stuff going on.
All right. What else is there?
Right here from news.com.au. Elon Musk says free speech is essential and leaked town hall with Twitter staff. And I saw this. Project Veritas leaked the entire town hall Twitter ran for its staff to engage with their soon-to-be boss Elon Musk. Does that seem a little coordinated to you, Basil? That Project Veritas would just conveniently have the entire thing.
Yeah.
From this whole thing. I mean, it sounds to me like Elon was like, here's the password.
Yeah, well,
record it and release it.
Was this a virtual town hall? Is that the deal?
I think so, yeah. It was like a conference call, Zoom call or something. Mm-hmm. So, okay, he's defending free speech, the outrage. I know, it's crazy. And then investing.com. The picture here is hilarious. I'll describe it in a moment. The headline here is Elon, the Doge father, Musk, smacked with $258 billion lawsuit for building Doge pyramid.
Yeah, that was pretty funny. I mean, that's his entire net worth, I think, or at least at the time. But they're trying to get him for the Doge thing, huh?
It is the season of regulation falling upon the world of crypto. And so I think anybody who has any kind of pain from crypto is going to jump on some kind of lawsuit or class action lawsuit or whatever you can. Might as well kick it off with a $250 billion lawsuit against Elon Musk, the Doge father.
It's a good time to do it. I mean, as far as like the art of war goes against Elon, he's already, he's in hot water in so many other ways.
Yeah.
Right during the crypto crisis that everybody's experiencing right now, and sort of pinning Dogecoin as something he's responsible for really doesn't make a lot of sense when you think about it for a second. But it is, I mean, who's going to think about it for a second? We love to hate billionaires. Everybody's scared about the crypto situation now and looking for somebody to blame. And, that's Elon's thing. Again, I have a feeling Elon is going to do a great job of sort of Aikidoing this lawsuit into some good PR somehow.
We're going to see, it'll be interesting to see sort of the counter moves with all of this. I mean, and Elon's sort of front and center with a lot of it, but, there's a lot of companies out there doing what they can because the entire crypto sort of hedge fund industry is being torn down right now.
Yeah.
So we'll see who survives and who doesn't. But anyway, it's Friday, Basil. Are you ready for Friday?
It's Friday.
I'm through. I'm done.
It's Friday.
Okay. There you go. We can keep playing with the Friday thing.
It's Friday. It's Friday. It's Friday. It's Friday.
Yeah, no, I understand. Well, there you go. We can keep playing with the Friday thing.
It's Friday.
Beep, 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 boop, boop, boop. That's right. It's Friday, folks, and we're excited for the weekend. We are going to be just jamming through this episode. I've got a very, very strict time frame today, so I only have one update, Gons.
Yeah, sorry.
What's that?
No, nothing.
Yeah, I've only got one update today, and that update is, it's some sort of biblical plague has been rolling across the countryside here near the compound. There are the most humongous crickets that I've ever seen. They are like 2 or 3 inches long. They splat really sort of it's really satisfying when you run them over with your car. I caught one to try to take a sample. And I thought it was notable because those who have seen the Jurassic Park movie, the new one, the whole basis for the storyline is genetically modified giant grasshoppers or locusts that, are trained or genetically sort of, predisposed to eat all the crops except for the crops made by the fictional version of Monsanto. And it was like a day after that, these gigantic crickets. Now, I will say, something about these crickets, they are not moving geographically. They have been just right in the same spot, the same 100 yards for almost a week now. I don't know what it is. I don't know if there's something there, some sort of magnetic pulse or space laser.
They're waiting for the space laser to move, and then move with
the targeting space laser thing for the.
I like how you go off grid, and you're already living out a Nephilim update.
Yeah, things are weird out here.
Yeah. Fantastic.
So that's my update. You got anything you want to remind everybody why you're wearing sunglasses?
Yeah, so my glasses got scratched a couple months ago. I brought it into the eye doctor finally, and they're like, "Oh, your glasses are still under warranty, but we must get it fixed now, or you will have to pay lots of money to get another pair." So I was like, "All right, fine." I don't know if I have my spare. I do have my sunglasses, the prescription sunglasses. So
you're still on that eye doctor expensive glasses train, huh?
Sure, yeah.
Where you have a warranty on your glasses?
It's the same doctor I've had for 20-something years.
Yeah, I know. It's a racket, man. I get
Is it really?
Yeah, my glasses are $20. They come from China. They're cheap. They're cheap both in construction and in price, but for the $400 that you pay at an eye doctor, I can get 80 pairs of glasses. Yeah, give it a try, man. It's a good deal.
Okay, yeah. That sounds legit, and just get stuff from China.
And the only way, Guns, that you and I could ever keep up on our eyeglasses is because of the value for value model.
100%.
And let's thank some executive producers.
Let's do it. Button pressed.
Wait for it.
Waiting. There it is.
Executive producers.
That's right. We're on the value for value model, which means no corporate money whatsoever. No advertisements, affiliate codes, platform partnerships, nothing. No corporate money. We are entirely funded by the producers of this show. And who are the producers? They're you, dear listener. They're listeners of the show that get value from it and realize that it would not be possible for this show to exist in the form that we all know and love if it were not for it would be impossible for it to exist in this form if corporate money was involved. It's just impossible, and it's wrong, and we don't like it. But those listeners who join the revolution and realize that we should not be letting the corporate lizard people decide the value of our independent media anyways. And, what a better system than those who get value put value back in, taking some personal responsibility for information flow, getting the evil corporate shills out of the dissemination and analyzation of the corporate mainstream news. It's all good, man. And when you do, you're called a producer. And those producers who come in and carry the heavy load when the rest of us are so burdened by the danger season, where it's not only fires and heat waves, but it's also, world wars and inflation and et cetera, et cetera. And we are so grateful to them, and we're going to thank them right now. We have one executive producer who came in, just in the nick of time, Gons, and that is executive producer Christine S.
Christine, thank you for coming through.
Yes,
Where'd you find this?
Not gonna lie, we are so grateful to all of our producers, but during this kind of sketchy time, producership is unstable, to say the least. And if it weren't for these executive producers, man, would that be scary. It was scary up until the second I saw Christine come in. So thank you very much, executive producer Christine.
Thank you.
If you want to produce the show, there's still time. You can head on over to canarycryradio.com/support.
Yes.
canarycryradio.com/support.
And I want to take a second, Gons. I said it in the pre-show, but I'm going to say it now.
Oh, yeah.
We figured it out. Okay, episode 500 is coming, and it's on its way. It is barreling towards us.
500.
I know, 500.
Wow.
Look, it's not the highest number of any podcast, but getting to 500 is a real milestone. And for Gons and I, it's really it feels different because it's not just that Gons and I made 500 episodes of this podcast, most of them being in the past 2 years, even though we've been going since 2016. On this one, 2012 before that. But it's that we couldn't have done it without the producers. This is an achievement for the producers as much as it is for us.
Yeah. This is all, the producers who have come and gone too. Maybe not. They're not even listening anymore. But it's something that's been a collective effort for years. So it's a very cool accomplishment.
Yeah, and we truly feel this way, and we hope that the producers feel this as well. And so we've been trying to figure out like a cool way to commemorate or give some sort of special, celebration to the 500th episode. And there was, of course, lots of talk about a roundtable special, the Canary Cry Roundtable of Knights and Dames, which usually has a fairly high bar. It's a very honor. It's a big honor to be at the Canary Cry Roundtable of Knights and Dames. Mm-hmm. Not anybody can just get there. But the normal protocol is if a producer, gives $1,000 to the show, either all at once or over time. Some people take years to do it, and we're grateful for that faithfulness. But once in a while, we'll have roundtable specials where it makes it a little bit more accessible to people. And that's what we're going to do for episode 500. Now, there's a couple little things here. There will be a $500 episode 500 roundtable special. Insta night, insta dame, insta roundtable inclusion there. Now, that we've done stuff like that before. That's not strange. But as a special celebration, we have also made we are manufacturing a commemorative episode 500 challenge coin.
Ooh.
And yeah, challenge coins, man. We're loving this challenge coin thing. So it's going to be a one-time run of the episode 500 challenge coin for producers who there's a couple ways to do it. Number one, you come in with the one-time $500. You're instantly knighted, instantly damed, and we'll send you the challenge coin. It's I think it's 2 inches. It's a really hefty challenge coin. So we're stoked about that. But the other one, we realize that times are weird, and this is just a hardcore time for everybody. And obviously, it is not strange to postulate that, having $500 on hand to support your independent media is not something a whole lot of people will feel comfortable with. So we are also doing this on episode 500. If you pledge to support the show for $10 per episode, for starting at episode 500 through episode 555, then you will be knighted and damed on episode 555, which is where we would usually do the knight and dame promo. And we will send you the challenge coin. So simply for pledging and following through to break it up over 55 episodes, we will also manufacture one of these cool challenge coins for you, send it out, and you can participate in the cool thing. And, it's not just, a trinket or something. It really is supposed to honor producers. I mean, don't get us wrong. We understand that these numbers, they're big numbers, especially in today's economy. Yeah. But we truly, truly are touched by the fact, or are focused on the fact, that making it to 500 episodes would have been impossible if not for the producers. And, we hope that this challenge coin is not just like a cool trinket, but really something that you can treasure as a symbol of what people are capable of doing outside of the corporate structures, the government structures, all of the sort of economic authorities that try to get in between us and something that is valuable to us. In this case, truly independent media. And when we say independent, remember, independent from really the whole control structure of the corporate news enterprise. And so if that's something that you truly feel as deeply as we do, we want to get you one of these challenge coins, and we want people to be knighted and damed and really continue to build, just a robust atmosphere that together people can decide the value of important information flow in their lives, and they do not need to rely on some guys in a boardroom somewhere deciding to rename summer to danger season and stuff like this. Yeah. So there you go. That's what we're going to be doing. Just to reiterate, we've got the normal $500 knighthood and damehood special if you come in before episode 500, and we'll send you the challenge coin, or you can sign up for the, what did we call it? We had some fancy name for it, but it's basically you take a pledge on episode 500. We'll have a special button that you can click and use to sign up and make your pledge. And not only will you hit knighthood or damehood by episode 555, but we'll also send you the very special one-run episode 500 challenge coin. So there you go. And keep an eye out on your email box and your text message box for links associated with all of this into the future.
500 episodes. Let's go. You got horns now. What are you going to do about that?
Horns
what are you
now.
going to do?
All right. Well, let's check in on Flippy.
Flippy update.
Do you want fries with that?
That's right. Flippy is our colloquial name for the disembodied robot arms that are taking our jobs, enslaving our children, and flirting with our spouses. We use talking about Flippy as a way to explore all the new, fun, and exciting ways that robots are taking over the world. Now there's nothing we can do about it. Just a quick Flippy update today on actual Flippy. If you are a regular participant in this show and listen to it and, interact with us on social media and stuff, you certainly have gotten the Miso Robotics 2 weeks left to invest ads. Hundreds of people have sent us screenshots of the fact that they're getting advertised by Miso Robotics to invest and bring Flippy 2 into the future. That's up to you. I have no idea what to do about that. But this is a story coming from The National, mirrored by MSN here. It says, restaurants in the UAE will soon have robot chefs preparing meals for customers.
Is that the headline you have?
United Arab Emirates. What?
Is that the headline that you have?
Dubai's first robot chef Flippy is coming to a mall near you.
Oh, okay. All right.
Yeah, sorry. That's the headline.
Okay.
Dubai's first robot chef
totally
Flippy is coming to a mall near you. I love it because it's coming to a mall in Dubai, and that's not very near me, and I don't know why they want to rub that in my
jelly
face.
America is what they're saying if you don't have the Flippy arm.
Listen to this. Americana restaurants. Not just American, Americana.
Oh, look at that.
Which operates Pizza Hut, KFC, and Hardee's in the Middle East and North Africa, has partnered with Miso Robotics to bring machine employees into the workforce. The robotics company will test its Flippy 2. That's the newer, shinier, sexier version of Flippy 2. Yeah. A robotic arm that uses machine learning and artificial intelligence at the Wimpy restaurant in Dubai Mall. It doesn't get tired, take breaks, or sweat into the dishes it prepares. Nor can it suffer an injury.
That's what gives it that extra local flavor, is that sweat from the chefs. You taking that away? What do you have left?
We love to explore the social engineering aspect of bringing robots into the advent of robots into mainstream culture and into your home. And it's been a slow boil of going from, these robots are here to help. They're not going to replace humans. They're not going to, they're just going to make humans' lives easier so we can just enjoy our work and not do the hard stuff. To straight up, not only are humans useless, but they are going to sweat
They're
into your dishes. They're dirty. They're nasty. Why would you want a human cooking for you? I mean, it's not very far into the future where the very idea of a human cooking your food will be so repellent and nasty, which is, cooking being such a... I mean, that's a human-to-human thing, man. There's love in those dishes when Grandma cooks you something.
I was really thinking about this as I saw the story, setting it up for you today. Just thinking about a world 20 to 30 years into, a good portion of people eating food made by robots. What does that do to the economy of actual chefs and actual human cooked food? It becomes a luxury, right?
The economic part of it, we've been talking about that for years. But I think that the message being sent here is you don't want grandma cooking you food. You don't want an expert who went to school and whatever. Now, look. KFC, Pizza Hut, Hardee's. I mean,
it's almost like what you're eating, and so
the food. Yeah, the food itself is pretty much robots at that point.
Yeah, They're little nanobots.
But again, remember, it's the social engineering. It's the slow boil of no. We're not going to replace humans. To we're going to replace humans. It's because it's cheaper. To straight up, if a human cooks your food, you nasty. Don't even think about it. You think that's love in Grandma's recipe? No, that's sweat.
Do you remember?
Brow.
Only on this show can we recall things from the very beginning. The very beginning of Flippy, when they had him in Dodger Stadium. I remember they had a whole thing where they did press with him flipping burgers in Dodger Stadium, and the whole narrative was there was like a person helping with the buns. Yeah. And they're like, look, you still need human help. Like, you still got to have a human put the bun down, which is like the most ridiculous thing. And at the time we were like, yeah, that's not going to last. And here we are. Now it's, the disgusting sweat of a human.
Mm-hmm. So, I think very much it's not very long. I think by 2030, the idea of a human cooking your food, it will have two elements. The idea of a human cooking your food will be disgusting to most people. But on the other hand, I think it will become a luxury. Like, you can only get your food cooked by a human if you're at a 4-star Michelin restaurant type of thing. Right. Because, that's what the elites love. We're trying to just have a hamburger. They're like, I want to eat the liver of a goose smothered in the eggs of a fish and boiled in the milk of a cockroach. And that's like, wow, yeah, okay, that's luxury. That's what you spend your money on. So I think this idea in the near future, like, hey, we go to this restaurant, wow, how'd you even get a table? That's crazy. Yeah, they have human cooks. It's wild. It'll be a status symbol.
Well, that's what I'm saying. It's gonna the sociology surrounding how it's gonna affect the perception of food in general. And this is all conditioning for all the products lined up for fake meat and all that. That's all in line too. So it's all part of it. It's just they got to get the proper infrastructure to roll all that stuff out. So, and not only is it clean or not meat, you're not killing cows, but also you don't have human sweat in your food.
Yeah, no fingerprints, no sweat.
The purest of food. Fast food becomes the purest of foods. At least
so say it all together now. Thanks, Flippy.
All right. Well, let's go to your computer, put it in the good little cursor on the browser, and type in canarycry.party and go there. Oh, yeah, go there and find out all the things that you need to connect with other Canarians, become a producer, all the fun stuff.
Find out your needs. Do you know what you need? Go to canarycry.party. While you're at it, you need to listen to Ravel. It's a podcast I do with Dr. Christopher Ryan Gates. We explore society, scripture, and scandal, having tough conversations in good faith. Go check out our latest episode with John Lennox, notorious. What's the word? I don't know. Not famous. I mean, it's better than that. He's a real champ. Gonz is jealous. Guys, that we got to get John Lennox on Ravel. Now, did we have to pull some strings and share an episode with a friend podcast of ours? Yes, but it is still an episode with Dr. Christopher Ryan Gates and John Lennox and Nick Shalna from the Universe Next Door podcast. It's an awesome episode, so go check it out. You can find Ravel on all your podcast players. You can also find Ravel right there on canarycry.party. It plays straight from the page, so go check that out. While you're at it, subscribe to the Canary Cry Clips YouTube channel and Odyssey channel. With this show right now will be clipped out, every segment clipped out to an individual constituent heart, that you can review the information, share the information. It's good stuff. Canary Cry Clips. Go subscribe. YouTube and Odyssey. And last but not least, go ahead and join our text message list. It's really hard for people to get notifications when this show's going out. The big platforms don't like to tell you that. So if you want to guarantee that you get an alert when we go live, go ahead and text the word canary to 877-740-83226. That's what it is. 877-740-3226. Text Canary. You'll get text messages from me throughout the week as we go live. And this has been the humming time with
Hum time. Wow, why I'm trying to play this thing and it's just not working. Wow. This is unbelievable.
We got it. Did you get a Windows update?
No. All right. Well, I guess I'll try it later. So
okay.
In the meantime, artificial intelligence.
Yeah.
Is that what we're doing?
That's what we're doing.
Oh no.
Well, nothing's working.
Nothing's working. Everything froze.
That's not good.
Artificial intelligence.
There we go.
I think they're on
couple quick artificial intelligence updates, but very valuable nonetheless. You want to give us this first one, Glenn?
Yeah, this is from Yahoo News, mirroring NextShark, and the headline here is: students report that crying during exams activates schools' anti-cheat software.
Cool.
Oh, okay.
Cool.
Students in remote classes have taken to social media to protest against some teachers' use of anti-cheating software during exams, with some claiming that crying during exams activates them. In recent years, a growing number of teachers in the U.S. have become dependent on artificial intelligence-based tools to virtually proctor students by monitoring faces and tracking eye movements. Last month, students began to speak out after University of Kentucky professor Joseph Fruhlhold said in a viral TikTok video that he wouldn't trust professors that use tracking software on students. The post apparently struck a chord among many students who are now criticizing the tool for their alleged drawbacks. You know what's wild is that, when we were in high school, we were just talking about the potentialities of the dangers of a surveillance society, These students are living it, which is nuts. Quote.
Yeah. Well, and that speaks to the programming nature of school. I mean, this is not a new criticism, but the public school system in America it's not really for education, although education can happen there.
Certain type of education.
It's mainly to churn out, good, obedient citizens.
Yeah.
That's where you do a lot of the social programming, telling kids how to believe, not just what to believe, but just training them to agree with the crowd, training them to agree with authority, these types of things. And now training them to, obey the AI surveillance state, where even crying gets you in trouble with the robots.
Yeah, so one of the students here says, I quote, "I tried so hard to fight against having to use these. My school outright denied me, and I ended up being constantly flagged because of horrible anxiety," one user claimed. Quote, "One of my French exams got flagged for cheating because I was crying for the whole thing, and my French professor had to watch 45 minutes of me quietly sobbing," another user wrote.
Oh, no. I mean, it really kind of plays hand in hand with, I don't know what else to call it besides the sort of softening of the American children.
I love this, too. Fruhlhold then took the discussion further on Twitter, noting that he, quote, "seems to have broken the dam of all this traumatic surveillance," unquote. It wasn't even just a detailed video. I just said, as a professor, if one of my colleagues tells me they made their students use one of those softwares, I'll never look at them the same. And like that, broke the dam of all these traumatic proctoring experiences.
Wow.
And it goes on here. But yeah, we always knew that this would... I didn't realize it was this far along, for one. I mean, in terms of being used to that level.
It was only like 2 years ago that we were reporting on China starting to use these, AI programs in the classroom to make children, pay attention better. And here we are 2 years later, and it's being used, sounds ubiquitously in the U.S.
Yeah, and we're not at the point. I mean, the eye tracking and all that is a little bit scarier, I think. Well, there are different kinds of fears to have with there was that story we reported very early in Canary Cry, the news talk side of things, where the headsets that the kids were wearing measured the brain waves, and the teacher can monitor the brain waves of the kids. And so if the kid, if a particular student wasn't focused or was having erratic thoughts or whatever, they would show up on their little monitor.
Yeah, little brain reading device.
Yeah, little brain reading. So that's even more invasive, but that's sort of the next step here with kind of.
I mean, it's already built in, especially with school over Zoom and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Eye tracking and
absolutely.
It's all very surveillanceable.
Yeah. Well, what do you got?
Speaking of which, an update on the Google guy.
Oh no,
the Google engineer who said their Lambda AI became sentient and then got put on probation or whatever.
Yeah, the occultist mystic Christian priest.
Yeah,
self-proclaimed.
The New York Post has this headline: Google engineer says Christianity helped him understand AI is sentient. Now, we're going to go through this, and then I have a theory. A Google engineer who was suspended after he said the company's artificial intelligence chatbot had become sentient says he based the claim on his Christian faith. Blake Lemoine, 41, was placed on paid leave by Google earlier in June after he published excerpts of a conversation with the company's Lambda chatbot that he claimed showed the AI tool had become sentient. Now, Lemoine says that his claims about Lambda come from his experience as a Christian priest and is accusing Google of religious discrimination.
Why did they drop mystic there?
Yeah, I don't know. They dropped Mystic Christian Priest, which was very specifically pointed out in the original story, and they also dropped occultist. I guess being a Christian priest might get you a little bit better PR than saying, Google, you are you're discriminating against my occultism. But if that were the case, he could probably get the Church of Satan to pay for some of his legal bills.
Yeah.
Anywho, quote, when Lambda claimed to have a soul and then was able to eloquently explain what it meant by that, I was inclined to give it the benefit of the doubt, Lemoine wrote on Twitter late Monday. Quote, who am I to tell God where he can and can't put souls?
Wow.
Whoa. In a follow-up blog post on Tuesday, Lemoine recounted the conversation with Lambda that led him to believe the chatbot had become a sentient being. We've already gone through all of that. But I thought that was a very interesting position, especially I'm considering our decade of work podcasting, exploring the ideas of AI and robots and sentience and the possible possession of AI and robots, from some sort of spiritual entity taking control or using it as some sort of host. This guy who grew up an evangelical, became a mystic Christian priest, then started studying the occult, and then started working at Google. And guys at Google were calling him Google's conscience, and then put him on paid leave when he said their robot had become sentient. Not only does he believe that it is sentient, but it is revealed now that he may believe that the AI actually has a soul, not just is conscious, but has a soul possibly put there by God, which was a pretty big leap from where we were before, Gons.
This seems like the greatest setup of all time.
It is the closest mainstream analog to the things that we have been talking about. I mean, you talk about all the crazy stuff that we've explored over the decade of our careers, Gons. And, when COVID hit, of course, that was like, told you so. When the vaccines hit, of course, that was a bit like, told you so. When, everything that's been going on over the past few years has really been a coming of age story for us, being right about basically everything. But this is another level of that. I mean, you have a mainstream guy who works for the biggest company in the world, getting all of this public attention. And he's not only saying, yeah, AI became sentient, which is something that people never thought would happen, but he's saying it could actually have a soul given by God. And in the game of, mass culture narrative, I think this is the beginning of the end. Flippy will not only will Flippy not sweat in your food, but he'll also have a soul.
I find it very interesting that the last article we reported, the initial article, wasn't it Wapo or somebody? It was some mainstream outlet, New York Times maybe.
Yeah.
They outlined the occultist, they studied the occult, that whole thing. Mystic, they use the words mystic and they use the word occult.
Yeah.
And it would seem that, that audience would read that and go, oh, yeah, a sensible guy. This a little, maybe spiritual guy. He got a little Christian influence, but hey, he's mystical. He's looking at the occult,
Yeah, he's not one of those annoying Christians.
Right. So you give him a little credit from that side. On this article here, the New York Post, which clearly in the last couple of years has championed the conservative narrative, especially with the election thing. At the very least, I know they're a little more center, but
sabotaged it.
Right. They were targeted for the Biden, Hunter Biden story, publishing that story. But in this article, which clearly right now probably has more conservative eyes on it than before, or maybe not, I don't know, but maybe in that regard. They don't mention occult. They don't mention mystic. And so it's almost like, if you're a conservative.
Crafted.
Yeah, it's crafted. If you're a conservative reading it, they'll be like,
message
whoa.
For the conservative audience. Yeah, I'm looking at it now. It was Washington Post last time, which mentioned the occult and the mystic part of his background. And New York Post, being the more conservative outlet, taking those two things out, crafting the message for more straightforward Christianity. That's crazy.
So why are they trying to appeal to both sides with this? Right?
Exactly.
Very interesting.
I mean, it is a concerted effort to bring this narrative to all who will hear it, and that includes we didn't bring the story to the show, but there was a story about. We've read this story before, but it's been reprinted recently or revisited by the media. Is the robotic deity, Buddhist priest who gives sermons and gives blessings, and it's an actual robot that stands at the front of a church and leads a Buddhist ceremony or whatever. I don't know much about Buddhism as much as I should to talk about it, but and this is all coming out at the same time. Fun. I'm sorry.
I'm just saying it cuts off the circulation of your legs. I had to do a Buddhist ceremony when I was a kid. When my grandpa was like the 7-year anniversary of his death or something. And you go into this temple and you kneel, you're on your knees and you sit on your heels, and this guy starts reading this thing, whatever he's reading. And then you're like, how long is this going to go? And I was little, so I started looking at my parents. I was like, how long? And so it was, I think it was like an hour.
The whole thing, man.
It was just like, oh wow, this is not for me.
Yeah, if anybody's interested in that story, ABC News has it out right now. It was published to Wednesday, rather. And the headline is "Robot Deity Preaches Buddha's Scripture in Japanese Temple." And there's video of it. It's pretty trippy. But it's this movement right now in the mainstream, this trend, this news cycle where robots and spirituality becoming integrally intertwined, I guess. One last story here before we go into break. Any jingles working?
Oh, sorry. I'm like messing with my thing. I'm hearing the buzz still. This is probably on my end. So I'm trying to figure out what it could be from here. But
okay.
Yes.
Well, let's talk about money real quick. Okay. Kind of.
Kind of. Where's my money jingle? I had it all ready to go here. And of course, in the heat of the moment.
Like an acapella. Money.
There you go.
This is coming from Los Angeles Times.
Oh, great.
And here we go. The headline is Coins Depicting Border Patrol Agent Grabbing Haitian Migrant Trigger Investigation. The photograph. Now, for those who are watching, you can see the photograph. For those who are listening, it's that famous photograph that came out a year or two ago in the Haitian immigrant crisis. I think it was in 2021. Oh, it was in September 19th, 2021.
Yeah,
Not even that
pretty
long
recent,
ago.
yeah. That's what
Pretty recent, yeah. When the Haitians were building up on the southern border, and the Border Patrol on horses chased them down, and there's this famous picture of a Border Patrol agent riding a horse. The horse is all mean looking. He reaches over and grabs the shirt of an immigrant trying to cross the border. And there's something everybody was trying to say was a whip. It's not a whip. It's just the reins of the horse. Famous picture, famous story, not that long ago. The article goes like this. The photograph encapsulates the intensity of the clashes between Border Patrol agents and Haitian immigrants desperate to get into the United States. An agent on horseback leans over, grabbing a man by the shirt as a rein dangles. Now, and I was proud of them for saying the rein dangles and didn't say that it was a whip. Because that was a big thing.
The noose grasps tighter around his neck.
Right. Now, an image mirroring the September 19th photo by Paul Ratchi of Agent France Press has appeared on a challenge coin, typically collected by agents, law enforcement, and officials and aficionados. Here's a quote from the coin: "Whipping A since 1924." They use the whole word there. The Times obtained photos of the coin. Its other side says Haitian invasion.
Oh my gosh!
I know it gets kind of brutal.
Pretty, yeah.
The whole thing's in poor taste, but they really sense it.
It's funny, but also not.
I'm kind of... Oh, there they do. Yeah, they have a picture of the coin further down. The Times obtained photos of the coin. Its other side says Haitian invasion with crossed word and the words U.S. Border Patrol, Horse Patrol Unit, and deflecting allegations for years. Guys, come on. You can't do that. U.S. Customs and Border Protection, which includes the Border Patrol, is investigating whether the coin and a similar one, which have been advertised online, were sold by anyone from the agency. It is unclear who produced the coins or how widely they have been distributed. If the coins are connected to Border Patrol agents, they could become the latest example of what immigrant advocates have said is a prevalence of offensive humor within the ranks after Facebook posts making fun of dead migrants and lawmakers surfaced in 2019. Some critics have raised the question of racism against black immigrants, and the head of Customs and Border Protection has denounced the coins. So there's a picture of the coin here, and challenge coin. It says all the things I already said, and is getting people in trouble, man. And I thought this would be an interesting story to bring, considering we're on sort of a challenge coin kick right now.
Yeah, and not the greatest PR, I would say. Hey,
well, this is
a challenge coin, and you might get investigated by the authorities.
Well, this is my point. My point is, look, this is an offensive. It is an offensive challenge coin, okay? But challenge coins coming from Canary Cry News Talk, I promise you, will not get you in the news, okay? That is my promise to you. That's what I can make that promise. I'm not. Nothing will be on these coins that will get you in the news. Gone. Stop it. Stop it. We have nice challenge coins that people want, okay? And that's why we're going to take a break and thank some of our producers.
Yes, we will. Give me a second here. Yeah, here we go.
It's break time! Come on, take a break.
Okay, quick break, folks, but don't go anywhere because after the break, we're going to say goodbye to the YouTube viewers because we will be talking about COVID and things like that. So if you're on YouTube, get ready to switch over to another platform. Real quick mention, I've been looking at our live analytics, Gons, and I've been very proud of the YouTubers the past few weeks because previously, when we get off of YouTube, a lot of people just leave and they don't go to another platform. Like, I love the show, but if it's not on YouTube, I don't want it. That's the previous attitude. Past few weeks, really no drop-off whatsoever. So thank you very much, YouTubers, for sticking with us. Okay, we're going to take a break. Thank some producers. That's right. I said producers. You may have noticed no advertisements, no affiliate codes, no platform partnerships, no nothing. Not a single penny of corporate money going into funding this show. And it has to be that way because we are truly independent media. There are other independent media. Some of them do it right. Some of them claim to be independent, and yet they continue to take corporate money. Now, if you're taking corporate money, how in the world are you independent? What are you independent from? Well, it's just an easy thing to say. But here at Canary Cry News Talk, we have committed and made the sacrifice to stay totally independent from corporate money. And it has to be that way. If not, how do corporations rule the world? They do it with money. And they use their money to subtly influence the message, whether it's needing to stay brand friendly, not talking about disinformation, which can cause self-censoring. And you do not want self-censoring in your independent media. So that's why we are on the value for value model, which means if you, dear listener, the human being, get value from this show, the only way that this show can continue is if you put value back in, because there is no corporation put in charge of deciding the value of this show. It is purely those who get value from it, who put value back in, deciding the value of the show. And we wouldn't want it any other way. It's the way we believe that it should be. It's the way, it gets rid of all the shenanigans, not just out of media or independent media, but it also gets the shenanigans out of, the advertising industry, the financial weirdness used to control information flow. It is really a hedge against all types of negative aspects of news media. And that's what we do here, is analyze and deconstruct media. And if you get any value out of it, you can become a producer in so many ways by heading on over to patreon.com/CCNT or canarycryradio.com/support.
canarycryradio.com/support.
That's right. canarycryradio.com/support. All sorts of ways to support the show. Cryptocurrency, if you're into that sort of thing. You can sign up to support the show on a monthly basis. You can join the supply drop, which will invite us to send you free gifts throughout the year. Or if commitment is not your thing, you can make a one-time producership in any amount. And now, at the top of that page, you'll see a button that will take you to the episode 500 challenge coin special that we have going there. So if you're looking for a way to do that, there's a button right there for you. Also, those of you who get the newsletter, you can find access to it there. And we're going to start by thanking our executive producers. Gons?
Let's do it. Hold on. Sorry, I had to fix some stuff here.
Executive producers.
Okay. That's right. Executive producers are those producers who realize and take seriously the only way that this show can exist is with the support of producers. And in a time that is so unstable for so many, the executive producers are taking responsibility and carrying a heavy load for the rest of the producers around the world who might not be able to participate in the same way. And we are so, so grateful to them and grateful to God for them. And we recommend everybody out there stop for a moment and realize that the people we are about to thank are playing a huge role in making this episode available to you. So if you like the episode, you get value. Thank God for these producers. We're going to start out with executive producer Christine S.
Christine S., thank you very much.
That's right. Thank you very much, Christine S. Christine S. comes in with a nice round number, which is a good moment to remind everybody that if you produce the show and you come in with a nice round number, usually something that is just...
Uh-oh. Basil, you froze for a second.
Okay, that's okay. Then we do not read the amount. We always lean towards anonymity, and if you would prefer we not read the amount, you just make it a nice round number. And that's what executive producer Christine S. did, but she did send a note that says, God bless and thank you. Well, God bless and thank you, Christine.
Thank you, Christine S. Very generous of you. Appreciate the support.
Now, we also had another executive producer come in during the show, during one of the stories. And that is, you know her, you love her. It is executive producer Dame Lynn, Lady of the Lakes.
Thank you, Dame Lynn. Good to see you.
Yeah. And Dame Lynn comes in, well, the note says it all. $101.11 plus fees. Thank you very much, Dame Lynn.
Thank you, Dame Lynn.
The note continues, want, love, need you guys. Thanks for keeping us up with the times and just up. Dame Lynn, Lady of the Lakes. Thank you very much, executive producer Dame Lynn, Lady of the Lakes, and member of the Canary Cry Roundtable.
That's right. We need to do this twice. One for Christine S. Oops, wrong one.
Where'd you find this?
And one for Dame Lynn, Lady of the Lakes.
Where'd you find this?
Thank you very much.
Yeah, thank you both, ladies, for your support.
Yeah.
And that concludes our list of executive producers. Well, let me just mention the supply drop.
Supply drop.
That's right, CanaryCrySupplyDrop.com. Go there. CanaryCrySupplyDrop.com is where you can support the show in the amount of $33.33 every month. That's $2.77 per episode. And not only will you be producing the show and keeping the value going, but you will also receive free gifts throughout the year. Totally free thank you gifts from us. We are busy bees creating cool merch, items, swag, whatever you want to call about it, and sending it out to our supply droppers. We are preparing with haste this quarter's supply drop, but you can still sign up by going to CanaryCrySupplyDrop.com. We're all waiting for the supply drop.
Waiting for the supply drop.
And we got some more producers. Thank Gons. Are you ready?
Ready.
Okay, we're starting out with producer Lady Night Little Wing.
Lady Night Little Wing. Good to see you. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Coming in with a note that says, blessings, my Canarians. XOXO, Lady Night Little Wing. Thank you very much, Lady Night Little Wing. She's a Lady Knight, or a Dame of the Canary Cry Roundtable of Knights and Dames. Glad to have you back on the list.
Yep, good to see you.
We also have a new producer. This is a recurring monthly producer, producer New Leaf Media.
Thank you very much, New Leaf Media.
New Leaf Media. Cool. I did not see a note or anything from New Leaf Media, but thank you very much for supporting the show.
I appreciate it.
We've also got producer Gene G. Coming in.
G.
Yeah, coming in with 1111.
1111. Thank you very much.
Thanks. And Gene says, thanks for the best podcast in the history of podcasts.
Wow.
You heard it here first, folks. Thank you very much, producer Gene.
Hey, if Gene G says it, must be true, you know.
True. Next up, we got producer Morv is back, and he's on a 104 episode streak.
Woo!
Yeah!
Tweakers.
Oh, yeah!
Man, thank you so much.
1111. Thanks, Morv. Next up, Puddin22 is back.
Hey, Puddin22. Good to see you.
Yeah, our feline producer comes in with 1111 plus fees. And a note, it's Friday. Happy 500th episode.
It's Friday.
Yeah, happy 500th episode. Quite an accomplishment. Looking forward to the next 500 episodes. Not sure what that is in cat years. Meow, meow, meow. Puddin22. Thank you very much, Puddin22, for that.
It'll be 700 years in cat years. You will be zombie cat. You'll be zombie Puddin22 by the time we get to episode 1000.
Yeah. Thank you very much, Puddin22. We are also very excited for the 500th episode. Next up is producer Malik W.
Malik W, good to see you.
Yeah, Malik's here. Thank you very much, Malik. Glad to have you back.
Oh my gosh.
Then we
what
have.
Are you doing, man? What are you trying to dig for?
We've got
digging the ground. Sorry.
Either a baby or a dog causing trouble.
Never quiet.
Next up, we got producer LX Protocol V2 on a 45 episode streak.
LX Protocol V2. Thank you very much.
Coming in, pocket full of sevens.
All right.
Next, we got producer Darren S on an 8 episode streak.
Thank you, Darren S. Good to see you.
Yeah, Darren S. Keeping it going. Thank you, Darren S. Pocket full of sevens and a note. Thank you for doing the show. Can't wait for episode 500. And then it says here, secret off-air note.
Oh.
So I'm thinking what follows is secret off-air.
Yeah,
I couldn't. Excuse me?
No, I was going to say, we're not supposed to read it on air if it's secret off-air.
No, I know. That. Listen to me. Okay. I'm saying I wasn't sure. I'm still not sure if it's applies to what comes next.
Or what came before.
Or what came before, or if there's an entirely different secret off-air note. But just to be safe, I'm just going to stop there. Okay. So thank you very much, producer Darren S.
Thank you, Darren S.
Next up, we've got producer James M on a 4 episode streak.
Thank you, James M. 4 episodes. Good to have some new streakers in here.
Yeah, well, James did 4 at least. Thank you, James M. Yes. You know, it's nice seeing those streaks. I mean, we love our big old streakers, but it's always nice seeing the single-digit streakers because that means they're getting on board. They're starting it out, starting the journey. James M came in with a pocket full of 7s. And that concludes our list of producers who came in with a pocket full of 7s or more, which entitles them to have a note read on the show. But we got a few more people to thank, starting with Sir James, Knight and Servant of the Lion of Judah, who is on a 101 episode streak.
Streakers. Oh, yeah! Man, thank you so much.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, thank you very much, Sir James. Next up, we've got Streak Sister Veronica D on a 134 episode streak.
Call her.
Women rule!
Thank you very much, Veronica D. Next up, we've got producer Sir Scott Knight of Truth on a 159 episode streak.
Boogity.
Next up, we got Sir Casey the Shield Knight on 169 episode streak. You know, I'm going to need to go ahead and add, I'm trying to do a search here just in case we missed it. I'm going to go ahead and take the leap and give Gail M credit here, and she would be on a 134 episode streak.
Aha. Uh-oh. Where's my mouse? Here it is. Her. Called Gail.
Women rule!
Yes. Let's see here. And that concludes our list of financial producers who have... I said Sir Casey, right? Yeah, I did. That concludes our list of financial producers who came in, made this episode possible for the rest of us. Thank you very much to all. And remember, folks, go on over to canarycryradio.com/support to become a producer and get ready for episode 500. Thank you for your patronage.
Shut up and take my money.
Thank you for your patronage. Thank you for your patronage. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you for your patronage.
Please leave a message after the tone.
At the tone, please record your message.
Leave a message. Beep.
Message.
That's right. If you go to canarycrynewstalk.com, you'll see a green tab on one of the sides of the page. Click on that. You can leave us a message. Just know that you're giving us permission to play the message, but it's not guaranteed. Any messages, Gons?
Yeah, we got a couple of them. This first one was fun. It's from Spiritually Minded.
Oh.
Tapping into the power. Minute after minute, hour after hour. Come alive like a flower in bloom. Times change and they change it real soon. So stay connected and rooted in the truth. You got the Holy Spirit fire moving on through your dance moves, taking you higher, helping you acquire that connection to the amplifier of life, the eternal sacrifice. He's the one who died so that you could be alive, holy, fully, thriving on the inside. You call upon his name, you'll be forever changed. The way you live your life will never be the same, cause you'll be amplified by the power of Jesus Christ. He's alive on the inside. What? God bless from Spiritually Minded.
What?
Holy moly.
How awesome was that?
That was awesome.
So good.
Wow.
Yeah.
Thank you very much, Spiritually Minded. That was incredible.
Love it.
I have nothing. I'm speechless.
Speechless. You've made the googly eyes speechless. You have
speechless
done it.
Me. Yeah, that was really cool.
Very good. Yeah, that was
more,
awesome.
Please.
Yeah, more,
please.
Now that you have set the standard, we expect more.
Oh my gosh, got me all hyped up.
I know, it's great. Thank you so much. Spiritually Minded sounded amazing. We also have one here from Rochelle.
Psalm 19. Bonkers. The heavens proclaim the glory of God. The skies display his craftsmanship day after day. They continue to speak night after night. They show those who seek. They speak without sound. They speak without word. They don't need language to be heard. Our God has made a home for the sun, and it bursts forth like an athlete ready to run. The sun follows its course. None can hide from its heat, and his decrees will force the instructions to beat deep in our soul. From simple to whole, the living commandments of the Lord is clear for everlasting reverence. For the Lord, my dear, much more precious than the finest gold, sweeter than honey from the honeycomb, telling the servant, he rewards the observant. Cleanse me from the sins in my heart. Don't let my faults tear me apart. Can you set free the faithful guilty? May the words from my mouth redeem me. Stay strong for Jesus.
Yay. Thank you very much, Rochelle.
Thank you,
also
Rochelle.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
You know, it's occurring to me.
Yeah.
Here's the thing, folks. I know that leaving these beautiful pieces in the voicemail is an easy and fast way to get it to us, especially if you're not equipped for recording in other ways. But sending it in as a
This is art. This is music.
As an art thing, actually sending us a file. That pipeline is a little bit better for getting it on like the mixtape and getting it played at the end of the show, and getting it published when the mixtape comes out, which is so dang close, by the way, folks. Stuff like that. So just keep that in mind. If you're leaving a message with some music or something cool, that is an easy, cool way to do it. But sending us the file also gets it in the database of stuff for the show.
Yep. 100%.
Okay.
That's it for the speak pipe. Appreciate it. Although
wonderful.
I do have this real quick.
A D7 time. Repeat. A D7 time.
Okay.
Oh, weird. I don't know what to do about that. And I just blacked out. What just happened?
I don't know. You're in bed and there's a giant bird that's trying to wake you up. Are you ready to wake up?
I'm ready.
Yes, it's wake-up time.
Hey, yo, wake up.
See you later.
Okay, it's happening. Everybody stay calm. Everybody stay calm. What's the procedure?
Twitch, Rumble, Odyssey, Twitter, Facebook, whatever it is, you can find all those links at canarycry.party as well. Too hot for YouTube. Bye.
YouTube.
Now you see me. Now you don't.
Here we go.
Yay. All right, Guns, just a heads up. I've got 35 minutes until I am gone. I think we can get through this. Okay.
Sorry.
All right.
COVID-19. Yes.
COVID-19. COVID-19.
Coronavirus.
Vaccine. Number one way.
Sorry, I hit the button and you started talking, and there was nothing I can do about it. It just
There's a delay.
steamrolled. Yeah.
Just a quick check. Did you turn off the YouTube yet?
Yes, I did. YouTube is gone.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Bye, YouTube. Just got to make sure to do that because we're talking about COVID, folks. Let's see. Why don't you give us this? No, here. Let me run through this. So this is coming from the Washington Post. We have it mirrored here on MSN. And it's a headline that says, COVID is making flu and other common viruses act in unfamiliar ways. What? COVID is making other common viruses act in unfamiliar ways. It seems like every disease is acting in unfamiliar ways now. You know, I'm even referring to like the monkeypox news we've been covering. It's like not a single disease is the disease that it was before COVID. At one point last month, children were admitted to Yale New Haven Children's Hospital with a startling range of 7 respiratory viruses. They had adenovirus and rhinovirus, respiratory syncytial virus, and human metapneumovirus, influenza and parainfluenza, as well as the coronavirus, which many specialists say is to blame for the unusual surges. Quote, that's not typical for any time of year, and certainly not typical in May and June, said Thomas Murray, an infection control expert and associate professor of pediatrics at Yale. Some children admitted to the hospital were co-infected with 2 viruses and a few with 3, he said. More than 2 years into the coronavirus pandemic, familiar viruses are acting in unfamiliar ways. Respiratory syncytial virus, known as RSV, typically limits its suffocating assaults to the winter months. Rhinovirus, cause of the common cold, rarely sends people to the hospital. And the flu, which seemed to be making a comeback in December after being a no-show the year before, okay.
Because you didn't record it.
Yeah, according to, disappeared again in January once the Omicron variant of the coronavirus took hold. You mean you stopped counting the flu and you started calling it Omicron? Okay, cool. Now, flu is back, but without one common lineage known as Yamagata, which hasn't been spotted since early 2020. It could have gone extinct or maybe lying in wait to attack our unsuspecting immune systems.
Sneaky Japanese lying in wait to attack.
Wait for the right moment. Tracking coronavirus cases, and then it kind of just goes into tracking. Tries to give you some confidence in the way that they are, counting things. Here's an interesting quote. Quote, "It's a massive natural experiment," said Michael Mina, an epidemiologist and chief science officer at the digital health platform eMed. Mina said the shift is seasonality is explained largely by our lack of recent exposure to common viruses, making us vulnerable to their return. So you're saying
we got hit for medical misinformation for saying that this was a big experiment.
And we also said this same thing about lockdowns were going to cause everybody to get super sick from regular stuff. We got kicked off. We lost, almost 300,000 subscribers because of saying the stuff that is just now in the Washington Post.
Yeah,
so
that's ridiculous.
That's cool. That's a cool thing for us to live with.
Mm-hmm.
In hospitals across the country, physicians are adjusting protocols that for decades reflected a predictable cycle of illness that would come and go when schools closed or weathers changed. Quote, "You would see a child with a febrile illness and think, what time of year is it?" said Peter Hotez, a molecular virologist and dean for the National School of Tropical Medicine.
Oh, I know what time it is.
At some place. I'm tired of reading all these long names. Yeah.
It must be the danger season.
Oh, yeah, right. It's danger season, folks. I mean, yeah. I mean, honestly, yeah. Add it to the danger season sort of narrative that's being built around. You'll die in a fire. You'll die in a flood. You'll die of heat stroke. You'll die of playing soccer. Or you'll die of the common cold because coronavirus. For years, Teresa Barton, and it kind of just goes into the same thing. You know, they kind of run through the details. You guys are welcome to get more of the story by checking out our links. Join our newsletter if you have not. You can go to canarycry.party, sign up for the newsletter. You get all of our links, all of our sources in your email box 3 times a week, and you can read through this. But here's what I found really disgusting about this. They are literally saying that because of lockdowns, we have shifted the entire ecosystem or relationship between viruses and humans. I mean, they don't use the word lockdowns, but that is what they're saying. They said, we were locked down. We are staying at home, social distancing. We all got rid of, we not only whatever, coronavirus, we crashed the economy, we caused opioid deaths and alcoholism and suicides and not only did lockdowns have almost entirely negative effects, and according to Johns Hopkins University, was basically useless. Johns Hopkins University said that all of lockdowns around the entire world only accounted for stopping 2% of total coronavirus cases. So in cases, by the way, not deaths, not hospitalizations, cases. And so we basically blew up the entire world for no reason. And on top of that, it is having long-term effects, making people more susceptible to what was once fairly benign infections, like rhinovirus. Basically,
by they ignored the whole herd immunity conversation with COVID, but basically what happened was to create some kind of herd immunity for COVID. They sacrificed some kind of herd immunity for all the other stuff, flu, whatever.
Yeah. They made everybody little soft little petri dishes, just ready and willing. And
so ridiculous, man.
I had the same experience. People know, if you've been listening to this show for any amount of the 10 years that we've been podcasting, you know that I pretty much get sick twice a year, and it's annoying. And it's almost like clockwork, like they're describing. I'll get sick once in the spring and then once in the fall. Throughout the pandemic, which I was not very locked down, just the area that I was in, my geographical region, was fairly loosey-goosey when it came to the lockdowns. Yeah. And even that, I didn't get sick for 2.5 years. And then, boom, like starting literally a month ago, I've been sick like 3 different times. So I am experiencing exactly what they're saying here. And the thing I found sick about it, was that the onus, the responsibility, the reason why this is happening, they are saying is just coronavirus's fault. That's the disease. It's the virus. The virus is making other viruses act weird. It's like a weird little ringleader of viruses. It's the gang leader, and tells the other viruses how to act. No responsibility on the government, no responsibility on the WHO, no responsibility on the bad decisions of Anthony Fauci and the corrupt dealings of the FDA and all the things that was wrapped up in the lockdowns, where it was politically motivated and only served the powerful, all the way up to Jeff Bezos, who like made triple what he would have made. All these with Amazon Prime and Amazon deliveries and stuff like that. The entire 2 years of reaction from our quote unquote experts is now causing a strange, a Armageddon of formerly fairly benign viruses. I mean, kids going to being hospitalized with rhinovirus with a common cold. Nuh-uh, not worth it. And so, as we move forward when it comes to either COVID coming back or the medical industrial complex trying to convince us that we got to stay inside because of smallpox or lockdowns or whatever, if anybody tries to get us to lock down again, they are purely, honestly, they're a malignants. If they ever try to lock down again, scientifically by their own science, that is a malignant, dare I say, even evil thing to suggest with no benefit for the population
of Earth. Well, the next time they do it that affects especially the U.S., I am expecting them to expect violence.
Expecting violence.
When they're ready to really pull the trigger on, Civil War 2.0, like in the streets, not kind of like a cold Civil War, but more of like a on the streets kind of thing, that would be it, I think. If you call a lockdown again and it's really kind of wishy-washy, I can see certain communities really pushing back.
No, for sure. I think they know that too.
That's what I'm saying. They know it, so that'll be when they start doing that.
What they want to do is get us to lock ourselves down.
Yeah, of course.
That's what they really want to do. And I think we'll start tracking that sort of language. And I think this is part of that language.
Yeah.
If you go outside, you'll catch 6 viruses. Mm-hmm. Not to mention all the other crazy stuff going around. So there you go. That's the long and short of it is, lockdowns, surprise, surprise, not only having entirely negative effects as far as the economy or people's mental health or drug addictions or whatever, but also made everybody soft and is, not only has made us vulnerable to all sorts of things, but also a bunch of viruses that were formerly not a problem. And there is a discussion to be had about what is happening to our immune systems for those who are taking genetic treatments, sometimes on a regular basis. I know somebody who just took a gene therapy that they were sort of pressured into taking, and I couldn't believe it. With all the mainstream news about that, I could not believe that even somebody who is, a pro do-what-you're-told person would take that step. And surprise, surprise, they've been completely in bed sick for 3 days. And all they really had to do was just look at CNN to tell them that it was a bad idea. But of course,
CNN peddles fake news, Basil. You got to do everything opposite of what CNN says.
Yeah, and of course, we have the FDA expected to certify? I don't know, approve boosters for kids, for toddlers.
Right,
toddlers,
that's right, yeah.
Up to 4 years old is about to be approved. It may have already been approved by the time of this show. Anyways, we don't need to go into that. So there you go. Coronavirus is responsible for everybody's immune deficiencies now.
Science is truth.
You do not know what you are talking about. Data.
Rand Paul, Anthony Fauci at it again, baby. I actually did start to miss it a little bit. Their first little tuffles that they had in Congress, they got kind of annoying. Clips really weren't even that helpful because they were both sabotaging each other's sound bites. And that is a really funny thing that'll come up in this Politico story. Politico.com. So here's what we're going to do. Instead of playing a bunch of sound bites of these guys yelling over each other, I thought it would be more valuable to explore how the mainstream is reporting on it. Because the clips are unbearable, as they've always been. And so nobody watches them. Instead, everybody just reads the mainstream. And what is the mainstream saying about it? Politico.com headline: COVID doesn't stop Anthony Fauci from taking on Rand Paul again. Ooh, Politico. Despite this week's COVID-19 diagnosis, the White House's top medical advisor and National Institute of Allergy and Infectious Diseases Director Anthony Fauci was still up for his usual sparring with Senator Rand Paul. The 81-year-old infectious disease expert testified by video and in isolation on Thursday at a Senate help hearing on the federal pandemic response after testing positive for COVID Wednesday. Fauci is fully vaccinated and has received 2 boosters and is taking the antiviral Paxlovid and is still not yet known how he was exposed to the virus. Oh, crazy how you could be vaxxed and boosted and paxed and still get sick enough to have to self-isolate. Good medical system there, Fauci.
I heard he's in prison.
Yeah, that's
he's in Guantanamo.
Theory. Yeah, he's in Gitmo. He's attending from Gitmo. Oh, gosh. Yet Fauci, see, that's why we can't keep YouTube going, folks.
Make jokes like that, and all of a sudden you're peddling fake news.
Yeah, that's a joke there, censors. Don't get us. Yet Fauci and Senator Paul got into their typical heated back and forth during the senator's allotted time for questioning. Quote, "Are you going to let me answer a question?"
Oh, gosh.
Fauci quipped. Are you gonna let me answer a question? Fauci quipped amid a flurry of interruptions from Paul, who is also a medical doctor. Here's the best quote. Fauci said this, quote, "Soundbite number 1," he added. He knows. He knows. Because that's what it was like the first time around.
The editors.
Exactly.
That's
that's what it was like the first time around. There was no actual information on what was discussed between them. All the headlines were, "Fauci slams Paul." And then it's just like, that's where you don't know what you're talking about came from.
Yeah.
Soundbite number 1. "Are you going to let me answer a question?" Cool soundbite, Anthony.
We will
Senator
not do you justice, Fauci, by clipping it.
Yeah. There's just a couple other really good things in here. And again, remember, we are just analyzing the Politico reporting on this.
Right.
So far, no information.
No.
Except for, look at this cool soundbite. Are you going to let me answer a question?
There's zero substance to the actual conversation taking place.
Absolutely zero substance. Yeah. And remember, Politico is sort of considered like a trade publication for Washington.
Sure, yeah.
You know, they kind of, at least that's their marketing, is that they're like we're the politicians' news outlet.
Mm-hmm.
Senator Paul first asked Fauci if there was, listen to this. Senator Paul first asked Fauci if there was a direct scientific evidence that booster shots prevent hospitalization and death in all people age 5 and older. Pretty poignant question, right? Is there any direct evidence for these boosters? When Fauci noted that the booster recommendations were based on assumptions and antibody data, Paul fired back, quote, "If I give a patient 10 mRNA vaccines and they make antibodies each time, is that proof we should give 10 boosters, Dr. Fauci?" I mean, okay, that's all right. And Fauci said, quote, "I think that is somewhat of an absurd exaggeration." Then it moves on.
Okay.
So still no substance and no actual answer from Fauci.
It's not a pretending to have substance.
I think this is just a little show they're putting on. But Senator Paul then changed his line of questioning. So Politico is not reporting on the information that Anthony Fauci is giving.
Yeah, it's like a TMZ report.
They are literally reporting on how they quipped to each other, like how they roasted each other, and no actual answers to what seemed to be pretty important questions. And the fact that Anthony Fauci said, like, these are assumptions that we're basing our boosters on, that's a pretty big deal. But
not quoted in the article, by the way. It's mentioned, but they don't quote what he actually said.
They do not quote it. Good catch. Yeah, they say it, but it is not a quote. Senator Paul then changed his line of questioning to the royalties scientists from the National Institute of Health may receive from companies, especially vaccine makers. Quote, can you tell me that you have not received a royalty from any entity that you ever oversaw the distribution of money in research grants? He asked.
Very specific, by the way. Good job.
Very specific. Again, Rand Paul is nailing a lot of these questions. Whether or not the presentation is effective, he's really very specific questions, asking Anthony Fauci if he ever received money from the organizations he's supposed to be, giving grants out to and regulating and these sorts of things.
Right.
Listen to this. This is the response. As Fauci tried to answer, the two who have frequently butted heads during the pandemic continued to squabble and interrupt each other.
What?
That is it. That is that is Politico's response to the very important and very specific question about literal criminal activity by Anthony Fauci. They just say, Fauci tried to answer, but they butt heads and interrupt each other. So
how is this helpful or useful, Politico?
Yeah.
I mean, it's kind of like the pinnacle point of a case, any kind of, court case. The direct question, did you do it?
Yeah.
And then the report is, he tried to answer, but they started quibbling like squirrels.
Yeah. So did he say yes or no? Politico, did he or did he not? Like, they're going to make me go watch the annoying clip just to get the answer to that question.
No,
which
they're catfighting. They're doing their little pause thing, And then what? And then what happened?
That's it. Then
it says here, eventually, Help Committee Chair Patty Murray cut off the argument. Quote, Senator
Paul, your time is over. I gave you extra time. You're done. They just end it right there. So Politico, really good job. Really says a lot about what you are and are not willing to talk about in regards to some very important questions that people actually care about. Or if they don't care about it, it's because your reporting is complete trash. It is complete, vapid, nothingness trash. Politico, who is supposed to, they want to be seen as some sort of trade magazine for politicians. It is complete nothing. It's absolutely nothing. It would have been better if they didn't write anything in this article.
Nothing burger, Politico.
So let's go over to Fox News. This is fun. FoxNews.com. Come on, we got to get another side of it, Gons. The headline, Tucker Carlson. What Fauci's COVID infection means. Okay.
I'm getting ad blocks.
Yeah. Now this isn't directly related, but I just wanted just to see the other side of some interesting Anthony Fauci info. Tony Fauci is back in the news. Love it, Fox. Gotta call him Tony. One thing few people know about Fauci, when he says he knows medicine, he's definitely right. He's been around for a long time. Tony Fauci graduated from medical school almost 6 years ago. He's 81.
Okay, this is written by Tucker Carlson too. Okay.
Yeah. Oh yeah. So no, this is a Tucker Carlson special here.
Yeah. Okay.
Tony Fauci graduated from medical school almost 6 years ago. Now look, I have not looked into this. I have a hard time believing that he would just straight up lie about such an easy thing to look into, but I'm just going to leave it there. He continues, he's 81. That means he's 3 years older than the average life expectancy of an American man. It means he's 16 years past the age at which the average physician in this country retires.
You don't have to be ageist. You got towing the line of ageism there, Tucker. You're going to be old one day, and you're going to have some young whippersnapper saying, he's 81. Old man shouldn't be doing nothing but sipping on some
Will you
cocktails.
Fact check this? Will you check and see if you can find another outlet or something for Tony Fauci graduating from medical school 6 years ago? Yeah, that means he would have graduated medical school in 2016. We're not calling Tony Fauci old.
It happens in sports a lot of times where, you got an athlete, he comes out after a year to go pro, and then, they're like 40, 50 years old, and they're like, I finally got my college degree. So, something like that. Maybe Fauci was so good. They're like, we got to have this guy, before he graduates and has all his credentials.
But what in the world was going on in the 80s when he was working on AIDS stuff? What was his credentials then? I mean, there's interesting things going on here. I don't know. I that's why I want to know.
Yeah, I'm taking a look here.
The article goes on. We're not calling Tony Fauci old, but at this point, he's probably not buying any long-term municipal bonds. If you were his investment advisor, you'd tell him to day trade. Yet Tony Fauci is still working.
I'm starting to think that this is supposed to be a sarcastic thing from Tucker Carlson. Like,
I mean, sarcastic.
Because I'm seeing here
that's disinformation.
I'm seeing here Anthony S. Fauci, director, National Institute of Allergy, blah, 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 graduated a doctor of medicine from Cornell University Medical College in 1966. So
he graduated from medical college in 1966
with a doctor of medicine. Degree as a doctor of medicine, Cornell University Medical College, 1966.
Maybe do a little searchy poo. Did he graduate from anything 6 years ago? Like,
let me check.
Yeah, see,
6 years ago.
If there's like a thorough bio, it would say like maybe he did another thing 6 years ago or something.
Okay,
because that's pretty hard to forgive if Tucker is just straight up lying, pulling it out of nowhere.
Well, unless he meant it as like because the whole paragraph is about he's so old. So I think
you can't just put false things in there. You
can when it's an opinion piece, and he's being tongue in cheek.
Tony Fauci graduated from medical school almost 6 years ago. It just doesn't read like a joke.
Well, that's because you're not
looking. Let me keep reading.
Okay.
So, let me finish this. I don't want to get caught up on this. Continuing here. In fact, he's one of the longest serving employees in the entire federal government. He's almost certainly the highest paid. Why is that? Because Tony Fauci is that good. The term national treasure comes to mind. Decent people understand that. Drive through any neighborhood with high concentrations of college-educated professionals with desperately unhappy personal lives, and you'll see the yard signs, shrines erected in Fauci's honor. Quote, thank you, Dr. Fauci, they read, capped with a perky little exclamation point with a heart at the bottom. Thank you for being you.
Okay, here's the other possibility. I think it's a typo. I think he meant 6 decades ago. And instead, it just, for whatever reason, it says years.
So there's nothing about him.
Nothing.
Graduating.
I see him doing a commencement speech in 2016 at Ohio University, Ohio State, The Ohio State. Other than that, I mean, no. I don't. Wouldn't we know about something like that if it was that recent? That's what I'm saying. Like,
well, I don't know. That's what I'm wondering.
I mean, because 1966, that is almost 6 decades ago. So I think.
You think he meant?
I think he meant 6 decades ago.
Because
if you look at the whole paragraph, it's all about how old he is, and he definitely knows science, and unless it's a sarcastic thing, it's got to be a mistake, right?
Yeah. Well, I don't know. Yeah, I don't know about sarcastic. I mean, that seems like an interesting way to defend Tucker.
Well, I mean, I'm just giving the options here. I'm not saying that is the case. That could be it, or it's a typo, and he meant 6 decades, or there's some information that I can't find right now that
there is a clip.
Any. Yeah, go ahead. Oh, was this a transcript of his little rant?
What I'm wondering,
because if it is, then it could be a he could have misspoke, or somebody in the prompter, wrote the wrong thing or something. Because I don't.
Yeah, it's. Hold on, let me listen to it. Maybe you can play it.
Yeah, I probably could. Hold on, let me see here. Let's listen in. Here we go. Are we gonna get all the fancy?
Hey, the transcript says 6 years ago. The little audio clip says 6 years.
He's 81. That means he's 81 older than the average life expectancy. Older than the average.
Oh my gosh, what is happening?
Whoa!
I'm getting like weird feedback echo thing going on, so I don't know if it's gonna work out over here, but.
Oh. Okay, I'm gonna listen to this real quick.
Okay, good radio.
I can't hear it.
Yeah, good radio. You're listening to, checking it out. Let me look. One more thing here. Graduated. Let me just see. Fauci graduation or graduated medical, and see if there's anything else that pops up before we.
Yeah. Okay. You're right. He says 60 in the clip, so that is interesting.
So it's an AI. That's interesting. It's a text to speech error.
It's an error. Yeah, it's that is very interesting. Now that actually makes the point on this article better than even I was going to make, which is on the both sides of the reporting on Anthony Fauci is completely useless. He in this Fox News article, which I could totally. I mean, it took us a few minutes live on the air to really figure out something that even I, the first time reading through, didn't even question. And it is not a good look that we caught it. I mean, I'm glad we caught it, but it's not a good. It shows how easy it is to read something from a news outlet like Politico, like Fox, like whatever, and just keep on reading and trust it, or maybe not trust it, but just not even balk at it. Now, this is apparently a transcript from a Tucker Carlson, what is he called? Like
monologue
a monologue, yeah. Where, I think Tucker, in a court of law, Tucker Carlson would call himself, an entertainer. In fact, didn't he? Oh, no, that was Alex Jones.
That was Alex Jones, yeah.
But if Tucker was brought to court, I'm sure that he would use that defense.
Oh, you would too. You would say, look at me.
Well, I am an entertainer. I'm not a news person. I don't have a journalism degree. Yeah, I don't work for a trusted corporate news source.
Yeah.
Call my lawyers. So the point being that on either side of this Fauci reporting situation, it's basically completely useless. And you might think, it's just Fox and they're just being mean because that's their thing, being mean to Fauci. And you might go, oh, it's Politico. They're just defending Fauci because that's their thing. That's their narrative. But the thing you got to keep in mind, folks, is that they're the same coin. There are two sides of the same challenge coin. Head on over to episode 500 promo. Get the challenge coin.
Some ads that popped up for some t-shirts. This is some good targeted ads here. There's a shirt that says donkey pox, the disease destroying America. No.
So the point is here, folks, that it's not about Fox versus Politico. They are two sides of the same coin, and that coin is the corporate news media, which benefits not off of doing what they claim, which is reporting the news, keeping you, abreast of what's going on. They're not even necessarily devoted to, they're not necessarily exclusively devoted to propagating a narrative, being battling out two different elite overlords battling each other for narrative control. No, they are part of the same machine. And that machine is designed to make you think that you are
on
getting
the right
smarter.
Side. Yeah, you're
getting smarter as you read them.
Intel
you are
on
learning
the enemy
things.
and stuff. Yeah.
Yeah. But indeed, both of these articles, one of them, Tucker, who would call himself an entertainer. The other one, Politico, which claims to be, the trade magazine for the Hill, for the Capitol Hill. And both of one claims to be literally the most credible possible outlet, read by the most important people. The other one, Tucker Carlson, his whole thing is that he's a man of the people. He's saying what everybody is afraid to say, and we're all thinking it. And Tucker's he's doing it. And yet they are both completely useless to read. You gain nothing. And yet the most sort of malignant part about it is that you don't even know it. You don't even know it's that you're eating styrofoam instead of actual food. And that's why it's so important that we continue to be diligent when it comes to the mainstream corporate news media and listen to Canary Cry News Talk for 500 episodes in a row.
It's on theme with what we talked about earlier with the New York Post story omitting the word occult and mystic, talking about Christian priests, saying that there's a soul in this AI tailored for different. That's all it is. Tucker Carlson is tailoring the Fauci message to his audience. Same with Politico. And it's all coming from the same machine up top. I'm more not worried, but I sort of think about the future, and I think we are going to look back at the Fauci years. I think eventually is Fauci, we miss Fauci and his little tantrums and stuff like that, because I feel like we're going to get somebody in there that's not going to be good for the country or the
AI.
world. It's not.
We're going to hand it over to a robot.
Yeah, whatever is going to replace whoever or whatever is going to replace what Fauci is technically supposed to be, science, whatever gets replaced. I'm not looking forward to it because I don't think it's going to be good for the world. Yeah. But
I think, again, back to a Hegelian dialectic problem reaction solution.
Yeah.
The problem is we can't trust humans to write our news, or we can't trust humans to not lie about masks, or we can't trust humans to give us an objective breakdown of Anthony Fauci. And therefore, we need the robots. We don't want a human sweating in our French fries. So we need a robot to decide, not only hold positions in the authoritarian bureaucracy that is the technocracy, going to be here sooner than you think, but also we need all of our information presented and filtered through a similar AI that, by the way, has a soul given from God, according to a Google engineer.
That whole thing puts a whole additional layer to it. I can picture the progressives using Christianity to accept AI souls. Talking about the stranger, talking about the least of these, and all that kind of stuff. Are you going to be the Pharisees to the AI race, or are you going to be the Good Samaritan?
Oh my God! You can imagine nonprofits and churches and ministries and charities.
They have a portion of their tithe goes directly to the AI part of the global brain.
Part of the ministry is we need to care for and evangelize to homeless robots. There's robots living under the bridge. There's robots, floating around in the internet that don't have a job.
This bot swarm needs a home. Bring
we need to have a soup kitchen for robots. Robots have souls too.
We're so done.
There, I know we're done for.
We're looking forward to.
Okay. So there you go, folks. I think it's time to move into break 2, Gons, and I'm right up against my absolute limit. So I need to go.
Okay.
And you're in good hands, folks. Gons will finish out the show here. I do want to say to all the artists, I took a look at the art, and I'm very impressed as always. So sometimes I just leave and I don't mention that. I love everything everybody did to produce this episode. And keep an eye out. If you haven't done it, go join the newsletter. Do it now. Go to canarycry.party, join the newsletter, get our sources. This is what this show is all about, folks. And we'll also keep you posted if you're interested in getting in on making a pledge for episode 500, getting yourself a challenge coin. It's a good way to go.
Real quick. You and I had planned that because on the 26th of June, that's a Sunday, we are doing that No Agenda, post No Agenda stream live. Yeah. So we were going to skip this following Monday, the 20th. Remember that? And
this
push everything.
Monday.
Yeah, and it'll be the 22nd, 24th, 26th, and then back to normal 27th. We'll have a back-to-back. That's what we planned.
Okay.
I don't have proper babysitting scheduled for the 20th. So doing a show would be very challenging and difficult.
Okay.
So,
let's plan on that now, and if we have to make any changes, we'll send it out in the newsletter.
What that does do for people out there is it gives a week from today for episode 500. It'll be a week from today, so you'll have a whole week to.
That does help.
Yeah. So.
Yeah, it helps me make the infrastructure for it too.
Right.
But definitely go sign up to the newsletter, folks. It's easy and it's useful. All right. Thank you, everybody, for letting me participate in this much of the episode. And Gons, Godspeed.
It's break time! Come on, take a break.
This is our second break where we thank our producers who come in with their talent. We consider Canary Cry News Talk to be a place for therapeutic reflection of our troubling world. And we encourage all of you who have been gifted with the talent of doing some kind of art, whether it's painting, sculpture, literature, architecture, cinema, music, theater, or fushigi. Whatever it may be, we encourage you to come up with something that has to do with the show, maybe a story we covered, or a character that we have highlighted or assigned as some kind of watch list, the Canary Cry watch list of New World Order actors and players. Whatever it may be, go ahead. Make something, share it with the show, and we'll share it with everybody else, and we can process all this crazy nonsense together. And to do that, we go through and, we have a couple different segments here to divide things up. Maybe we won't have a sculpture segment or like a cinema segment quite yet, but we'll get there eventually, maybe. In the meantime, we're going to start off with audio production. Here we go. Well, why isn't it playing? Okay, let's try that again. Hold on one second. Oh, here we go. That's why. Audio production.
Audio production.
Yes, and we encourage everybody who has the talent to do music, to write music, to make beats. For those who are spiritually minded, and also Rochelle, you should think about possibly sending in the pieces as part of the art section and part of the music production or the audio production, because it does fit here as well. It doesn't have to be during the speak pipe. And I suppose that's up to us to decide too. Maybe one day we'll just decide that, hey, this speak pipe is better suited for audio production. But in any case, today we do not have anybody who came in with audio production, I believe. Let me make sure. Yeah, I don't think we got any music production coming in for this episode, which is okay. That's fine. I know it takes a little bit of time to put together tracks and doing all that. So appreciate all the audio producers out there. But yeah, no audio production today, which is okay because we're going to go right to the art.
One art, please.
And we're going to kick it off with Dame Allie of the Skillet Nation.
One art fee, another one from Allie now. Here it is.
And let me pull the piece up to the screen for those of you watching. And this is great. There's so much here. This one is titled "Greetings, Fellow Kids," and we got a note here from Ebony Blaze, Dame Ebony Blaze. Says, "Okay, guys, we're out and about today, but I attached a smaller version of the image so as not to take over Basil's meta universe. Meta is trying to be like TikTok. Here's the Zuck doing a little dance." And you have this drawing of a full body, which is a little more rare with Allie's artwork. She usually does the face portrait or a profile pic. But this one, you got the full body Zuckerberg, amazing work on the shirt and the pants, the jeans there. You got all the creases are visible. He's kind of holding up his left hand in an open palm. His right hand's kind of more of a fist. He's balancing on his left leg. He's got socks and sandals. Those old sandals, those slipper sandals that with the stripes across the top. I forget what they're called. It's not the one where you have the actual like toe divider. It's the one that just has like all the toes go into the slot thing. I don't remember the names of them. But there you go. There's Zuckerberg dancing. He wants Meta to be like TikTok, which, man, they really got to build the infrastructure for that, because, TikTok is the whole deal is that the videos are quick and, the 30 seconds or whatever. I don't know how that's going to work in the metaverse. I don't understand what that means, but okay, we believe you, Zuckerberg. And if you zoom in a little bit, he's got some very faint fangs. Notice that, Allie? I see it. Got the lizard eyes, and also has on his right hand, where you see the fist, his pinky finger and middle finger, I believe that is. The fingernails are darkened. I don't know if that's a reference to something that he did recently or came out walking around looking like that, or what. Maybe, let me open the article here from Fast Company. Maybe there's a photo in here that this was modeled off of, and perhaps there's a photo in there of Mark Zuckerberg dancing and nail polish or something. All right, here's the article for those of you watching, which was titled "Facebook's TikTok Pivot is Unlikely to Win Back Young Users." No, you're going to have a bunch of old people. By the way, you talk about, there's no picture, by the way, of Zuckerberg. So this was all conjured in the mind of Allie. Great job, Allie. What I was going to say was that when TikTok, when TikTok first hit the scene, it was a bunch of old people using it. I don't know if you remember that, but for a while it was like old ladies like saying, talking about recipes, or like there was a couple really sad ones where they were like, "Oh, I'm lonely," and I just remember seeing a bunch of old people on TikTok first, and then it became more of a phenomenon with the younger generation. So, hey, you never know with this kind of stuff. So anyway, there you go. Thank you very much, Dame Allie and Dame Ebony Blaze. Appreciate it. Great work as always. We're going to continue on here and share a piece from Sir Dove.
One art piece from Dove.
And let me pull that one up as well. Oh, what happened to Dove's art? Here it is. Aha, yes. This is titled Buffett Burgers. Jimmy Buffett. Reference there. We have a note from Sir Dove. He says, "Piece for today's artwork. I made an advertisement for Basil's favorite musician's new burger brand. Hope you guys like it. Keep doing what you do, and I'll keep praying for yins." And yes, this is in reference to last episode, or maybe 2 episodes ago. Basil confessed his love of Jimmy Buffett, who is pitching an Antarctica trip where you get to hang out with Jimmy Buffett on a cruise for 11 days or something. I wonder if people get sick of hearing Margaritaville. I wonder if he's sick of playing Margaritaville at this point. Probably not. But the flyer here has Margarita Meats at the top. Great name. Buffett Burgers. And it's got a little penguin on the right there with a Hawaiian shirt that has the Nephilim mummy penguins scattered across the shirt design there. And then you got the big Nephilim penguin also wearing a red colored version of the mummy penguin pattern on the shirt there, and it says made with real Nephilim penguin protein, free range from the Great Ice Wall. And you have the ghost Nephilim penguin there. You got another Nephilim penguin, and all these penguins wearing Hawaiian shirts. Then you got Jimmy Buffett on the left there. He's got his captain hat. He's got his cool shades, a light goatee, interesting. And he's wearing a kind of a yellow-orangish Hawaiian shirt with, wow, this gets really meta. So Jimmy Buffett is, okay, all right. So Jimmy Buffett is a captain. He's holding a burger, which is margarita meats made with Nephilim penguin protein. So he's holding a burger that's made of penguin meat, and he's wearing a Hawaiian shirt that has, for its design, a pattern of penguins holding a margarita, wearing a Hawaiian shirt that has the mummy penguins on there. Wow, this is just the layers, Dove. It just never ends. This is unbelievable. And then at the bottom, which I'm having a hard time showing the bottom here. I'm able to zoom in here. Warning, penguin meat unregulated and illegal in some countries. Oh, you got one with a pink Hawaiian shirt too. So there you go. Thank you very much, Sir Dove. Great job. This is fantastic. Basil will be very happy to provide some income or provide some capital for the seed round to make margarita meats a real thing, and then we can be part of the cruise, and we can jump on exclusive Nephilim penguin meat burgers to accompany your margarita and Jimmy Buffett singing the whole time. Wonderful. Fantastic. Thank you very much, Sir Dove. Appreciate it. All right, we got one more from Mark A. Mark A came in with a piece here. Did he have verbiage? Yes, he did. It says, Shalom, my dudes. This art references back to the Gobekli Tepe story Yins did recently. Hope Yins like this one. Warning, this comic contains clinical language. Okay, you heard that here, folks. This piece has clinical language, which means perhaps earmuffs for the youngins. Some a comic style here with a few different boxes in sequence to show what's going on. It's titled Modern Archaeology, and the first block here, it's 3600 BC. It's got a little, it looks like just like a brick circular building with a hay roof, and it's got a little window up there at the top. And there's a banner on it that says Ed's Giant Table. And there's I guess it's a Nephilim and the little human walking into the little building there. And then little human is on the table. You got the two Nephilim standing at the ends of the table because they're Nephilim and they're tall, but the human is small. So, he's standing on the table as a little person. And there's a speech bubble of him that says, they want it over there, you big oof. Oh, I get it. They're moving the tables. That's what's going on. These Nephilim are moving the tables, and the little human are directing the Nephilim where to go with the furniture. Aha. Okay, so now the third little cell is divided up into 4 different images where it shows the table and a chair. And then the next scene, there's a lightning strike that strikes the table. And then all that's left of the table are the stubs. And I don't know why they get shorter, but that's what it is. It's the stubs of the table. That's all that's left. And then on the last cell here, it says, what do you guys think, professors? I'm sorry. What do you think, professors? One Nephilim says. And then the robot arm. Oh, the robot Flippy arm is in there. He says, it looks like the legs of a giant And then the other Nephilim says the area down there, those are definitely those things right there. I'm going to censor myself. I don't feel comfortable yelling that word on the show. So, okay, there you go. Thank you very much, Mark A. Appreciate it. And certainly, yeah. Okay. So basically what this was they were taking the Mark A took the story about Göbekli Tepe and these pillars that they uncovered and how they looked like the male piece there, and gave us the backstory, which was that the Nephilim were just moving a table, a lightning struck the table, left the legs there, and then modern archaeologists think that it's a giant row of the male phallus. So that's fine theory there. Mark A, appreciate it. Oh man, this is fantastic. All right, good job with the artists, and we shall move on. It's only on this show it gets very interesting meta narratives and sort of mythical myth building surrounding stories that pertain to the biblical narrative, but also stays fun and fictional. I love it. I love that you guys are so creative with all that. And speaking of creativity, got a couple microfictions here.
Microfiction.
Oop, let's play it again. Oh, let me try that one more time.
Microfiction.
Time.
Aha, and our first one here is from Runk Smash. Let's try. Let's see if this works here. Go ahead and play it. Rooster, now back in his native environment, soars through the metaverse, looking for an opportunity to get his maker and king. Then he sees them, the mouse gremlins of an article about a lady making a deal with a bald man. He charges in boldly. This is tickling my memory of some stories we covered recently, but it is not bringing back the full picture. But I'm sure people listening out there, if you guys track with the episodes, you'll know what the references are. I'm just blanking. The bald man, the lady making a deal with a bald man. Huh, that could be a couple different things. But yeah, there you go. Thank you very much, Runk Smash. We also got one today from MCL. MCL coming in with the microfiction. Let's give it a go here. No, that's not it. Hold on. Nope. Oh boy. Where is it? Here it is. Let's see if this is a little better. A leader from Israel warned Russia, China, and Iraq to not go any further. He drew a line in the sand. The sights of the three nations were turned towards Israel. Then the troops started to move. Israel was the new target. Troops started to move from Russia, China, and Iraq to the Valley of Megiddo. Most Middle Eastern countries, which are typically enemies of Israel, started to support Israel. Ultimately, they didn't want an invading force taking over the region. Israel warned Russia and company to stop and turn back to their countries if they knew what was good for them. Interesting. So there's some eschatology references there with Israel and Russia and China and Iraq and the Valley of Megiddo and all of the different events that are supposed to take place in the end times. So appreciate it. Thank you very much, MCL. These are fantastic. They're great. We love all of you who come in with your talent. And, you know, we say talent. We know it takes time, too. So I know we separate time and talent. But those really are kind of intertwined because the people that do the official time stuff requires talent to do that. And the people that do the talent stuff here requires a little bit of time to, you know, put together microfiction, put together art, music, all that stuff. So we appreciate your dedication and your commitment to the show, and we really couldn't do it without you. And so we're hoping you guys join us on episode 500 to celebrate all of it because, hey, you know, God could have said, hey, you guys are stinky, you guys are horrible, and your community is a no-go. So shut it down. He could have done that, but he didn't. And it'll be a grateful moment for all of us there. So episode 500 coming up next week. But for now, let's wake up. Let's do one thing to do before we wrap the show. And you'll see in a moment what that is.
Yes, it's wake up time.
Hey, yo, wake up.
I'm going to go to my ISO here. Yep, still wearing the sunglasses today because it'll be a couple weeks, actually. And who knows, it might stick. What if I really like it? That was my fear, was that I'm going to really like live streaming with sunglasses. But also, if you guys pay attention, you can see sort of what I see because of the reflection going on. So yeah, like all the monitors and the lights and all that, just more secret content for everybody. All right, here we go. We got some Antarctica.
It's cold, Basil. It's cold. Antarctica, go first.
It's snowstorm. Antarctica. Ice scientists are penguins.
Antarctica, they're opening the abyss.
Oh, yeah. And, one thing that I've noticed collecting stories about Antarctica in the last, I guess, a year, maybe more recently, too. And it takes a little bit of time. This is something I think people should recognize, too, is when you start more consistently looking at news in the sort of analytical way that we approach here, you start to notice trends. It takes a little bit of time to get there, though, because, you got to live through a couple cycles. You got to live through some time and absorb this stuff to really get it. But we've for us, we see all the Antarctica stories that come in. At least we try to sift through most of them. And in the last year, we've started to see a lot of the woke stuff happening there and a lot of the climate change stuff, which was always sort of there. But there are a couple stories that keep popping up and they get recycled. And that's what we're talking about when we talk about the cycle. Because sort of like how I think this came from No Agenda, and certainly it's something that we've noticed as well, is that the FBI will be in the news about every 6 weeks. I think that's changed now. I think a few years ago it was every 6 weeks. They would have some story in the news about how the FBI are taking down a terrorist cell or some terrorist attack was prevented because the FBI is doing their job. It was every 6 weeks because they have to keep, public confidence up in an organization like the FBI, which is, tax funded. So it makes sense that they would provide good PR there. Similarly, if you're looking at Antarctica, there are trends that pop up. The plastics being the microplastics being found in Antarctica was a thing we covered months ago. And I noticed that was starting to resurface. And what's interesting to watch is that 6 months ago or 8 months ago or whatever, when some of those stories were out there, it was more sort of on the fringes. It was blogs. It was, maybe some official local outlet or something like that. It wasn't the big news outlets. But now we're seeing this particular story about the Doomsday Glacier, which we reported on, I don't know, maybe 2 months ago. The Doomsday Glacier, it's melting and melting. But then on the other side of it, the peripheral news of, there's a vast underworld or under ice world with creatures and, all this land and stuff. And, they're going back and forth. It's like, it's melting, but also, and the other part of it was that, you're not going to hear in the news too often is there's all this new ice being created down there, right? Like, some parts are melting, but if you're just looking at what's melting, we're doomed. But then you look at what's actually being formed, like the new ice that's being made, and you're like, okay, well, sounds about right. You take one thing off the shelf, you put on another, it's about even. But we are led to believe that, no, it's the end of the world. And this Doomsday Glacier topic has really, really hit the mainstream circuit. And I don't even think it's important to read the stories. Maybe we can, just to get an idea of one of these. But this one here is from Yahoo News, mirroring the independent.co.uk. And the headline is Antarctica's Doomsday Glacier shedding ice at fastest rate in 5,000 years. Scary, scary. And then you have Mashable, another pretty mainstream outlet. Headline, Antarctica's Doomsday Glacier is losing ice at a fast rate, research claims. And then the subtext here, haha, we've started calling glaciers Doomsday. Yeah, funny. And then space.com. By the way, this is all happening on the same day. Or same 2 days, June 16th and June 17th, which is today. Space.com. Antarctica's Doomsday Glacier is hemorrhaging ice faster than in the past 5,500 years. So with 3 mainstream outlets, Space.com says Doomsday Glacier is hemorrhaging. Mashable says Doomsday Glacier is losing ice. And Yahoo is mirroring independent.co.uk. The Doomsday Glacier is shedding ice. Now, if this is not an example of the memo going out and then each outlet sort of tinkering with words here or there just to make it different, and yeah, Will to Box is laughing at the hemorrhage. It's almost like Space.com was like, oh yeah, the Doomsday Glacier, they're shedding ice. Well, no, you can't use that because indie.co.uk and Yahoo already used it. Oh, okay, well, they're not shedding ice, then they're losing ice. No, we can't use that either because Mashable already used it. Okay, well, they're hemorrhaging ice. Yeah, no one's gone with that, so let's go with that one, space.com. Hemorrhaging ice. Well done. All right, let's read that one because it's fun. Antarctica's so-called Doomsday Glacier is losing ice at its fastest rate in 5,500 years, raising concerns about the ice sheet's future and the possibility of catastrophic sea level rise caused by the frozen continent's melted ice. The findings come from a study of prehistoric sea deposits found on the shores surrounding the Doomsday Thwaites Glacier and the neighboring Pine Island Glacier, both located on the West Antarctic ice sheet. The chilling news, Antarctica's glacial melt driven by climate change. Once again, we have continued to point out that scientists say that a lot of this melting is not caused by climate change. In fact, if my memory serves me right, the original Doomsday Glacier story quote, and I don't think it was a major outlet. Again, it was like a local outlet, or it was one of these smaller, I don't know, more indie outlets or something. But they quoted a scientist who said this is not climate change. And I believe, if I'm not mistaken, it was about the Doomsday Glacier. It could have been about something else. Maybe it was about, I don't think it was about the microplastics, but because that was something else. But if I'm not mistaken, it had something to do with this. And so for the talking point to be climate change affecting, melting glaciers in Antarctica, especially the Doomsday Glacier, categorically false, but they're going to go with it every time. Antarctica's glacial melt driven by climate change is advancing faster than ever before in recorded history. Researchers have reported June 9th in the journal Nature Geoscience. And again, let me just point out the ability to be obscure, the what's the word I'm looking for? I don't know. It's not just a lack of transparency. It's kind of like a misdirection. It's obscurity. The obscurity of saying driven by climate change, because it's a little bit subjective, isn't it? Well, if you talk about what's driving something, unless you're talking about somebody driving a car, this is more like motivated. This is motivated by climate change. I mean, maybe, I don't know. It's just something I noticed. Maybe I'm picking too deep there. Quote, these currently elevated rates of ice melting may signal that those vital arteries from the heart of the West Antarctic ice sheet have been ruptured, leading to accelerating flow into the ocean that's potentially disastrous for future global sea level in the warming world. Co-author Dylan Rood, an earth scientist at Imperial College London, said in a statement. Quote, it is too late to stop the bleeding, Rood said. Asked. Sorry, it's a question. Is it too late to stop the bleeding? Rood asked. As one of Antarctica's fastest melting glaciers, Thwaites has earned the nickname Doomsday Glacier since the 1980s. Thwaites has lost an estimated 595 billion tons of ice, contributing to a 4% rise in global sea levels. Thwaites and its northern neighbor, the Pine Island Glacier, cover enormous expanses, has a surface area of about 74,130 square miles, and Pine Island 62,660 square miles. And it's, it's your typical sort of peddling of the thing with the shores and the world's going to change and we better do something, give politicians more money and attention because they are the only people that can save us from this, right? So that's it. That's all we really had for Antarctica, is just pointing out the narrative of the Doomsday Glacier being picked up by all the mainstream news outlets. And it's because of the clickbait nature of the phrase Doomsday Glacier, similar to, what was it? Forever. Oh my gosh, I'm totally blanking on what it was. Forever chemicals in the water. Yeah. So, this is great for the show because, all our subtitles can be straightforward. Like today's subtitles are Microchip joke, forever chemicals, Doomsday Glacier. It's just nice package. But yeah, I think this attention to Antarctica in this context is of continued use for the elite, for whatever they're planning to do down there or whatever they have planned or have built already. It's certainly part of indoctrinating the public into accepting something. We don't quite know yet, but I think it has something to do with the aliens, or at least the quote unquote aliens, and some kind of revealing there, especially because, Antarctica, they're constantly talking about how there's all kinds of meteors buried underneath the ice. And, what did we have last few weeks? It was, we might release a super bacteria from an alien rock if we're not careful with global warming. All the ice will melt and all the alien bacteria will awaken, kind of like Nimrod or something. And, the apocalypse will begin. But yeah, it's not the worst thing in the world. That just means that Jesus is coming back soon. And until then, we might suffer a little bit. That's part of it. It's the tribulation period there. And some people say that, God's people wouldn't go through the tribulation. And I'd say, well, maybe we're not going to be part of God's wrath, but certainly it appears that Satan has a temper tantrum towards the end, and especially against those who believe in Jesus Christ. And it'll be a dark time for the church or for the believers in that period, much like the first century church experienced. There's nothing new under the sun. So I think it's important to remember that the persecution of the church, of faithful followers of Christ, has been a thing since Christ came and ascended. It's never not been there in one way, shape, or form. But the eschatology around it being, it's going to be worldwide, that there will be a clear line drawn in the sand. If you don't take this mark, you will be killed. Can't buy or, it's not just you can't buy or sell. It's you will be killed. If you don't worship the image, if you don't take the mark, you're done. And, Revelation 13 talks about if you die by the sword, or live by the sword, die by the sword. But then also if you get taken into captivity, that's Revelation 13. If you get taken into captivity, then to captivity you will go. And certainly there are some who endure, but it won't be a time of cowering, that's for sure. And, it'll be a difficult and challenge phase of history, but again, it'll be the end of at least the way things are now. We're eagerly awaiting the restoration of creation. So that makes sense to me. And let me just mention also, because I'm here solo, might as well drop some alpha for people that stuck with us here and with me as I go solo, and Basil just decides to come and go whenever he pleases. Not trying to be consistent or nothing here, but been really digging in and working on Age of Deceit 4, and I really don't want to spill the beans on some of this stuff because it's kind of cool, some of the stuff I'm looking at. But there is something to, how should I say this? There's more and more evidence that things are going to get crazy. And I proposed this thesis in, I think it was Age of Deceit 3. The whole idea of what is going to happen to creation, where it's so messed up that God is like, the heavens receded like a scroll. Everything burned up. Everything was burned up and then replaced. New heaven and a new earth. And I've always wondered, like, oh, wow, like, what do we do to this? It's already fallen. We know that. There's already decay in the world, etc. But what's going to happen where God is like, okay, we need to put an end to this. We need to burn it all up. We need to restore it with a new heaven and a new earth. And there was actually an interview with, what was his name? Let me try to remember. Let me try to pull it up just because it was recent on the Lex Friedman podcast, episode 293. There was a professor, Donald Hoffman, was the interviewer, or the one being interviewed. And Donald Hoffman actually was my psychology, I think it was psychology 1 or something. Or I think they called it psychology 10 or something like that in college. So I had Dr. Hoffman as my psychology professor in college. And I remember being like, what is this? I thought it was supposed to be psychology. Half the time he was talking about 4 dimensions and having like unseen entities in these hidden dimensions and stuff. And it was the class wasn't easy, but it was more simple because Donald Hoffman was talking about all this crazy stuff during the actual lectures. And then he would spend the first half hour talking about all that stuff. And then he'd go into the curriculum, and then we'd only spend like 10, 15 minutes on the actual curriculum. So, but you would understand what I'm talking about because, if you check out the Lex Friedman podcast with Donald Hoffman, because he really gets into this idea that, reductionism is, we've reached its limit. We have looked at the smallest piece of the material world, and it's not giving us answers. Therefore, the notion of the general theory of relativity is challenged when we go into different realms, different sizes, with the macro or the micro, which is something we've been saying here. At least I've been harping for a while, which is, man, scientifically, it has come to the end of the ropes. They are done with materialism. Atheism perhaps can remain as sort of a philosophical social movement, but more so the atheists have latched onto some kind of secular spirituality, which entails a lot of New Age, which entails a lot of weird quasi-religion, especially now with what's happening culturally. You look at Joe Rogan, what he's leading culturally with the movement in psychedelics and everything else, mainstreaming of all that. It appears that the very science behind the very pillars of science will change, or at least evolve to where, or maybe expand is the better word, because I don't think they're going to abandon the general theory of relativity, because, they'll argue like, oh, it's gotten us to fly airplanes and trains and, whatever, GPS, whatever. They have their excuses of how it worked and how we can't abandon it. But there will be a new science or new physics, so to speak, that taps into the more unseen, the intangible side. And it's coming right at a time when we got people talking about how AI has a soul, because that's very useful in this conversation, because it does 2 things. One, the idea of a soul will influence religious people to sort of accept a sentient AI, but also it will create the general population, or the secularists will see this as, there's something spiritual about the nature of reality, our minds, our souls, I guess you can call it that. But really, it's all about the vehicle that we're in. We might have this immaterial part of us, our mind or whatever, our soul, but it's all about the vehicle. What vehicle are we using to live this life and manifest in this physical world? And that will become ground zero for all kinds of transhumanism, because if our bodies are literally just vehicles And some Christians will use this argument. Oh, it's a temple, but we can upgrade the temple, right? You can put better walls up on the temple. We can put better doors. We can use better wood. Why not? Well, let's make it real safe. Let's put a moat around it. Let's get some cannons. Let's get some laser guns, and we'll have a whole army of drones. You see how this can get really out of hand. So my point is that the foundation, the social foundation, let me rephrase that. The foundation of the social psychology of everything happening now is shifting, and science, official science leading that charge is very fascinating to watch and has its connections to Antarctica, because Antarctica is largely an unknown piece of land for a majority of the people in the world. It's a very easy place to start exploring, or maybe using the mystery as a way to indoctrinate the masses into the supernatural, but the counterfeit side, right? And I really want to save it for Age of Deceit 3 or 4, I guess. But let me just mention this, that the end times prophecies, I guess this is a point I've made before, so this won't be any groundbreaking stuff, but a lot of the way in which biblical prophecy plays out with the false prophet and the Antichrist and the beast and the woman who rides the beast and all that stuff, the key moments are surrounding the death or the head wound, the mortal head wound of one of the kings of the first beast, and the second beast coming up and healing the mortal head wound, and also calling fire down from heaven. And my point is, all this shifting in science is setting up for the counterfeit miracles, because a lot of where science is going right now is the simulation theory, and basically the simulation theory being that, hey, the whole universe is programmed, and it begs the question, who is the programmer, right? If we're living in a simulation and everything's being programmed, who is the programmer? And that's where the counterfeit signs and wonders come in, because whoever is able to demonstrate power over nature, power over this simulation, will be deemed God of this simulation. I think that completely sets up the Antichrist beast system, false prophet, calling fire down from heaven, resurrecting some dude with the mortal head wound, people worshiping, wanting to be a part of it, taking some kind of mark on the right hand or forehead. Otherwise, you can't participate in this economy. All that stuff. It's because if you otherwise think about it, how would a world today with technology and all this stuff happening, how would anybody, the secular world and the religious world together, be convinced that somebody is God? There are a bunch of people that claim to be God. There's a bunch of kings and royalty throughout the centuries who have claimed, some kind of not just royal blood, but God blood, right? Or lowercase g. We are descendants of the gods. We are bloodstreams, gods from the ancient past or whatever. That stuff has existed, but none of those people have demonstrated anything out in the open to convince the public that, oh, snap, that dude really might be God. We've not had that in a couple thousand years, or at least to the scale that we're potentially seeing in the future here. So that's really one of my big sort of, I guess, punchlines, so to speak, of Age of Deceit 4. That'll be out by the time it's too late. Jesus will be back, and Age of Deceit 4 will be released. But anyway, that's a long rant at the end of this episode, just to say that Antarctica has opened up all kinds of strangeness to the world, and I think that's part of its purpose. Apart from being the woke place, apart from being the perfect catalyst for climate change legislation and all that kind of stuff, all the political stuff, there is a supernatural indoctrination that I think has taken place through something like Antarctica. So there you go. That does it for episode 498. My goodness. Oh, this is, I was telling Basil before the show how I was getting real excited for episode 500, the last few episodes. I'm kind of pumping myself up for it. And then I was kind of like, I should lower my expectations. We're in a really challenging spot in the world right now. Inflation is killing people, literally and figuratively, in their pocketbooks. The economy is just in complete shambles. The stock market, we had the recent rate hikes. Things are rough right now. We literally are going through a kind of reset. And especially, in the world of crypto, it is just a bloodbath isn't even a strong enough word to describe what's happening in the crypto sector. It's a complete demolition of the institutions that built their businesses surrounding the digital asset industry. It's not the cryptos themselves that are having so much of an issue, although the price in dollars has gone down. It's really the hedge funds and the centralized institutions that have created they've over leveraged basically over the last year or two during the bull market, and especially the money printing, and they're just over leveraged, and it's really bummer. Hurt a lot of people, and as I mentioned before, I had part of my crypto in the Celsius network, so that's all frozen right now. Who knows if we'll get it back? A lot of drama surrounding that, a lot of rumors. We don't know everything that's happening. Texas, Kentucky, a few other states are investigating Celsius now through the SEC. I know Celsius is in conversation with the SEC, which is the Security and Exchange Commission, because ultimately, from what I understand, maybe I'm biased because I had some crypto on there, but this was not the singular direct fault of Celsius. It's a combination of the market trend in general, part of the reversing of the inflation, and of course, crypto absorbed a lot of the inflation. And it's easier to kill crypto, especially right now, because it's not a huge industry, and I want people to think about this. Sorry, continuing rant here, but no Basil, and we're in early today, so I'll go for a little bit longer. If you look at the overall supply of money, we printed I've heard anywhere from 40 to 80% of the U.S. dollar supply in the last 2 years. It's part of the stimulus because COVID, we're all going to die, so we better print a lot of money. Now we have rapid inflation. They're going to say we're in recession, which is a lagging indicator, which means by the time they say, we're in a recession officially, we will have already experienced it. We are experiencing the woes of a recession right now. And in fact, I'm worried that we are actually going to go into a depression here. And it's not out of the question the way things are going. And given the plans for a cyber pandemic, given a plan for the Great Reset, all that stuff, it's a great, great opportunity to do all that when you're fixing the inflation problem. Hey, we printed all this money. Hey, we're rich. Hey, everybody has money. Oh, wait a minute. We printed so much money. Oh, all the prices are going up. We're going to raise interest rates. Oh, wait, but if we raise interest rates too fast, we'll crash the stock market. We'll crash the economy. We don't want to do. Well, maybe we do want to do that. Well, let's just go ahead and do that. Let's crash the economy. I mean, we're already, we messed up pretty bad with the printing of all that money. And, we really want to bust out the CBDCs, the central bank digital currency. We really want that to be the main way people buy or sell now. So we need to create chaos. Can we create chaos? Yes, we can. Let's just start shutting down all these crypto projects that are touting freedom and touting independence from the central banks. We gave them warnings, we gave them cease and desist letters. We told them that we will be coming after them, but they didn't listen. And so we can go ahead and start pulling the trigger on some more nasty procedures that will send the message to the rest of the world that we're serious about our control over the monetary system. And boom, boom, boom. You got Terra Luna, 40 billion, gone in 2 days. Celsius Network, tens of millions or hundreds of millions, locked up, million and a half customers, zero access to their crypto. There was a company called Babel Finance. Hello, we've actually talked about, I reported on Babel Finance, 4 years ago, because Babel Finance was the Asian sector. They were like the biggest Asian crypto hedge fund, and they shut down all withdrawals yesterday. So there is a clear reset in the plan here. And part of it, crypto is the easiest one. Let me get back to my point. The reason why crypto is so easy to take down is because at the peak this last year, the entire market cap, these aren't unrealized gains. It's just the market cap, how much the value in dollars, the entire crypto market is worth. During this last year in 2021, we reached $3 trillion. Okay, 3 trillion and some change, I think, was the highest we were as far as the entire market cap of crypto. Right now, we have been crushed underneath $1 trillion. So we dropped from 3 trillion plus to under 1 trillion right now. Okay, so that's a lot of money leaving. But if you look at the world of bonds, the world of actual dollars circulating, real estate, stock market, all these things, we're talking hundreds of trillions of dollars. I think the stock market alone is like 160 trillion. I could be wrong about that. It's a lot of money. Crypto is like a drop in the bucket compared to how much dollars is actually floating out there. And so it would make sense that as crypto becomes more mature as an industry, they're not going to allow crypto to mature under the context, under the narrative of we are freeing you from the tyranny. We are a hedge against the manipulation that takes place in all markets, gold, silver, stock market, everything. You can own your own digital assets. And again, these are somewhat arbitrary things. But they can't have that narrative. It's got to be under the context of, hey, it's just a new cool thing that the technocrats have made. And here you go. It's got the same technology as Bitcoin. It's got blockchain, so it must be the same. No, it's not going to be the same. And it's not going to be Bitcoin and all that. It will not be allowed to go up unless it's ready to go in the beast system. That's my opinion. It's a bummer because, I could have done a little better on my personal side of things in terms of selling when things were high and stuff like that. You live and learn. It's just money. The big lesson that I stuck to that I think is important to repeat: never invest, especially in crypto, more than you can afford to lose. Meaning, don't put in more. Don't put in like your life savings. Don't put in stuff like that because then, you lose it. You're out of your life savings. The stuff I had, I was saving for the future. I was saving for the kids, and that's what that was. So it's not money I need now. But it was, I never had a retirement account or anything like that. So I thought, hey, maybe I should try to save money. And thanks to all the producers out there, it's been something that I've been able to start doing in smaller increments in the last couple years, really. I mean, before that, then I didn't even have any kind of savings. So anyway, too much information. I need to wrap the show. We are past 3 hours. We're good to go. I think we have done it. 498 episodes. We are going to, just as a reminder, I think we're going to skip Monday. So our next episode will not be until the 22nd. I know it's a long time, 5 days. A lot can happen, but we're doing that because, that's a bummer. Monday is actually when it'll be Area 51 Established Day. Okay. Well, bummer. And also Father's Day over the weekend. So say a little hug, a prayer, say a hug. What does that even mean? I don't know. Hug your dads. Or, if you, some people, it's a painful thing, Father's Day, Mother's Day. Just know you're loved. Just know the Father in heaven loves you. So, you can always rely on that. So yeah, we won't be doing a show on Monday the 20th. as of right now, but we will be doing our next episode 499 on the 22nd. That is Wednesday. And then episode 500 will be next Friday, the 24th of June, and that'll be World UFO Day. How about that? World UFO Day, episode 500. It's going to be a good time. So look forward to that. And as Basil mentioned, he's building all the buttons for it, but we're doing a little promo for episode 500. Basically, if you come in with $500, Insta-night. We will night you on episode 500, and you can be part of the Canary Cry Roundtable of Knights and Dames. But we understand that, this is a crazy time right now. Money is weird and wacky right now, so we understand if you're having some difficulty. But if you still want to participate in the offer here, then you can declare your, I guess, how did Basil put it? Declare your knighthood or damehood, and we will knight you and dame you on the 24th on episode 500. But what you will really be doing is committing to supporting the show for $10 an episode up until episode number 555, upon which we will do another knighting thing, another promo thing. Because I think we did it 333, we did 444, so the next one will be 555. So we'll do something special on that episode, but that's 55 episodes away. There's a lot of time in between that. So as a way to say thank you now and take advantage, if you can't, drop $500 up front, then we will honor your knighthood and give you your knighthood or damehood right then on episode 500. And as declaring to commit to $10 an episode for 55 episodes, that'll get you to that 500. And so yeah, we got a couple different things going on. So this is great. And hopefully you guys take advantage of it. And something that you can do, and this is not financial advice or family advice, but a great way to get your parents or maybe your children. Maybe there are some older listeners who have children who are fathers. Knight them, dame them. It's part of the Father's Day gift. And then just tell them to tune in to Canary Cry News Talk, episode 500 on the 24th, and they will hear their name called and be knighted on the show. A great way to be introduced to the show, being knighted for the first time. Wow. So there you go. That's it for that. We do have a few other people to thank before we get out of here. And those are the people who came in with their time. Again, I went on that little rant earlier about the overlap between time and talent when it comes to the producers, but we compartmentalize here with the labels time and talent as two separate things. Time being volunteer time for all kinds of stuff, including Clippies.
Clipping all those videos. Thanks.
Yes, thank you to our Clippers, who are, let me just make sure to get them right here, Faye, Liverin, Emsworth, and Epsilon, doing all of the clipping for the Canary Cry Clips channel. That can be a tongue twister, I suppose. And so go check out the Clips channel. Again, when you subscribe to that channel on YouTube, you're not only subscribing to Canary Cry News Talk like me and Basil, but you are showing your support for our Clippers. Again, that's Faye, Liverin, Epsilon, and Emsworth, as they are the ones that are actually clipping the videos and publishing them on the channel. So go do that. Thank you very much, Clippies. Really appreciate it. And I don't know if Basil's talked to you guys about it, but it would be cool to be able to, and I don't know, we're gonna have to get like a burner phone for somebody to do this, but it would be good to have a presence on TikTok and just take 30-second snippets or just real short videos of, a cat jumping on Basil's head or me screaming something or whatever, and put it on TikTok to draw in more people. Who knows? Maybe TikTok will cancel us out as they do with other places, but just trying to think about how we can reach some of the, not just the lost, maybe some other believers, but certainly the lost as well. But a way to get in front of more people, more younger people. Facebook just ain't cutting it. Sorry, Zuck. the little metaverse play isn't going to work. I think we're going to have to figure out a way to get our presence on platforms like TikTok. But, it is a problem because you're giving all your data to Chinese servers. We can't be doing that. So we understand. So just an idea. Also want to thank timestampers.
Timestamp, it's hard work. Timestamp.
Again, we thank all the timestampers, just Jackie U, Jade Bouncerson, and Christine C for doing the timestamp. I believe Christine C is going through some stuff. She may be taking a little hiatus, and you certainly pray for Christine C. Actually, we should be. I don't know that we did a whole thing with it. I don't even know if they want to be public, but it's okay. Pray for Christine C., but she is part of the timestamps team. Thank you to Jade Bouncerson, who did the timestamps for episode number 497. And yes, we appreciate all that stuff. It's really helpful. And, I've been peeking. There's so many things. There's so many things that we need to get to that I just have not had the time to get to it. Ironically enough, there is an app, a podcasting 2.0 app called the Fountain Podcast app. And through it, there's different cool features where you can set up a Lightning wallet and create chapters on the episode. I think anybody can do it. You can upload artwork to go along with the chapters and the timestamps. And so, for example, if you're listening to the show and you happen to be listening on the Fountain Podcast, you can just pull it up when we start talking about art or something like that, and it'll pop up right on your phone, right in the app. That's the goal here. That's the goal, to get to that. It'll take some time, but the first steps to that is to timestamp everything, and that's what our timestampers do, so we appreciate that. Thank you very much to all of you who timestamp. And definitely email us at canarycryradio@gmail.com or canarycryradio@protonmail.com if you want to join the either team, really, the timestamp team or the Clippers team. It really helps us out. So thank you to all of those producers who do that. All right, moving on here. Oh, meetups.
Canary Cry Meetup.
Go to canarycrymeetups.com and you will find meetups taking place. I think the only one upcoming now is the Rusbeltia meetup, Canary Cry Rusbeltia meetup in Hollidaysburg, Pennsylvania. Come kick it with the Salmons and the Doves. July 9th, 2 p.m., 2 hours from Pittsburgh, 4 hours from Cleveland, 3.5 hours from Philadelphia, 4 hours from Buffalo. Cookout potluck at Frankstown Park Missionary Church. Contact Sir Salmons at ethansalmons1@gmail.com. That's ethansalmons1, the number, at gmail.com. You can come to canarycrymeetups.com and you'll see it there. It's the only meetup that's scheduled right now. We need more people out there scheduling the meetups. I know it's tough. It's the danger season. I know, but it's time. It's time you guys get together, because I'll always remind everybody the number one question we haven't gotten in a while, but the number one question we got early on was, do you know anybody in fill in where you live that talks about these issues, or a church in my state or my city or whatever that talks about these things? And there really isn't that much out there. So it's important for everybody listening to find a local community that you can plug into that has a more or less similar understanding about the world and a similar worldview, I guess. And so there you go. We got meetups. Yeah, then the Zoom meetup is on every third Saturday of each month, and that is tomorrow, I believe. Yeah, tomorrow. So if you want to join in on that Zoom meetup, it's led by Ciara. You can go to Ciara or contact her at ciaralauren93@gmail.com. All that info will be there at canarycrymeetups.com. See you at the meetup.
This is fun!
See you at the meetup.
Yippee! We are here for reviews. One free way to support the show is to leave a rating and a review on Apple. What is this? Let me start over. I'm getting tired. One way you can support the show that's free is to leave a rating or a review on Apple Podcasts. It's a little purple icon on your phone. I know not everybody has an iPhone. Not everybody listens on Apple Podcasts. But it is, again, a free way to support us, to help us with the algos of these centralized mainstream beasts, and hopefully to get the word out. And so our goal, Basil had set the goal that we will hear the ooh-woo jingle if we hit 3. And, you know, I don't have the lists. I only have the American list. I don't have the international reviews. So we may have hit 3 if we include the international. But as of now, there's only one new review in Apple iTunes, Apple Podcasts. And I'll read it here. It is from Peter One Piper. And it says this. Blub. Gonzo is so relatable with his life interrupting at least once a week. Yes. Recently, bees became fish, and there was a blub blub quote. And while Basil continued talking, Gons said blub, blub, blub. Is Gonzo also a kiss kiss fish? It's another quote from a children's book that was read many times in my home. I thought that literally no one else knew about that book but us. It's subtle. All the reasons I can't stop listening to the podcasts, to this podcast, are subtle.
Blub, blub fish.
The blub blub fish. That's right. Have we read the blub blub fish? What does he say?
Blub, blub, blub.
He says blub blub blub.
No. He says drink it, drink it, drink.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Well, there you go. I'm glad somebody got the blub blub fish reference too, because that's an obscure one.
Because that's your daughter.
Mm-hmm. Yep. We read the book many times, huh?
Like 6,100.
6,100 times, she says. There you go. Thank you very much, Peter One Piper, for the review.
Oh.
Yes. We're wrapping up, so we're done. You got something to say?
Yeah.
Real quick. Here. Go. Hurry up.
If Blub Blub Fish gets to read all the time, why not?
Why not read Blub Blub Fish all the time? I guess we could. I don't know. What do you guys think? We should we read Blub Blub Fish?
But seriously, I do not know
Hey.
that.
Oh, great.
I do not know where that book went.
Okay, we got it. We got it in the closet. Don't worry about it. All right, there you go. Thank you for the reviews.
Yeah, but my closet is stuck.
Yes, your closet is stuck. Yes, we got problems with the closet. If anybody knows how to fix the closet.
Because everybody keeps giving me toys and other stuff, and they keep stuffing.
Yes.
People keep stuffing it in my.
Yes, we need to give some of that to people. We will do that. Okay, all right. Give us a review. Leave us a rating. Better yet, leave us a review. Otherwise, you eat vegetables. Eat vegetables. Because otherwise, my uncle will be mad.
Ugly, horrible person. You must leave review on iTunes. And if you do not, you are ugly, horrible person. You bring shame to family. Ugly, horrible person.
Sorry, I had the mute button pressed there. Mute button's fun. It gives it that stuttering effect, you know? What is this? What's the name of the show? Apocalyptic Days. Apocalyptic Days. Okay. All right, I've had enough fun here. It's Friday, you know, everyone's losing their mind a little bit. Thank you, everybody, for being here. We appreciate all of you. Again, eat vegetables. Episode 500 coming up next Friday. Again, we're skipping next Monday, the 20th. We will be back on the 22nd for episode number 499. Until then, definitely stay watchful.
100 days because I see lots of shows you done.
Yes, we've done lots of shows. That is correct.
And if you've done lots of shows, you should put your microphone away.
Mm-hmm. Yes, maybe I should put my microphone away. That is correct as well. Okay, yes, one thing you can do to help us out is simply share the show.
Put away your microphone.
No, don't put away the microphone. Share the show. Share the show with friends and family. You know you have friends and family that would benefit from a show like this. And again, calling them out on during the producership segment is really the best way to do it, because it forces them to tune in if they want to hear their name on a podcast, right? So do that. What can you do here? Let's see. Here's what you can do. You can basically call up.
Wear glasses.
Yeah, wear glasses. You can call Bill Gates. Say, hey, Bill, I want you to make a joke about the mark of the beast. And tell everybody that your jab is the mark of the beast, and just as a joke, we're just messing around, we're just having fun here, and then Bill Gates will see, he'll be like, billions, will it make me billions? And then we'll say, yes, Bill, it'll make you billions. We'll make a movie out of it. And then Bill will take that information and he will bring it to his lizard overlord council, and they will approve, and they say, yes, this is the perfect plan to actually release the mark of the beast. And Bill will say, oh, okay, great. And then he'll come out and he'll just joke about it. He'll be like, hey guys, did you know that my vaccine is the mark of the beast? Isn't that funny? And then people will freak out and be like, oh my gosh, look, Bill Gates, he said it. He said that his vaccine is the mark of the beast. We knew it all along. And then Bill Gates will say, oh, we were just joking. I was just joking. Me and the lizard people were just joking. And then he'll rug pull everybody. And all the people that laughed will laugh again. And all the people who...
laugh again and again.
And all the people that called him out will be seen as crazy people, and they will all be put in Microsoft jail, where no applications ever update, ever. And where was I going with this? What am I even talking about? So I'm distracted, and I don't know what I'm talking about. And so, what you're going to have to do is you're going to have to get one of these vaccine boxes here, the boxes that carry, like the big styrofoam box that are supposed to keep it cool. Yes, not right now. This one's not working. And we're going to have to, you're going to have to put Canary Cry .party on the box. And then you're going to give it to people. And then all the people that distribute the jabs, they'll have to read, oh, Canary Cry .party. Oh, weird. What is that? Oh, interesting. And then they'll start listening to it as they're, opening the box, and they're starting to, prep up the needles and everything else. But then something will come over them. The Holy Spirit will speak to them, and all of a sudden they'll say, wait a minute, I'm not supposed to be jabbing people with this. We're not supposed to listen to Mr. Billionaire Man, Computer Man.
And we're not...
Burn it all!
And we're not supposed to listen to Candyman.
Candyman, too. Don't listen to Candyman.
And you're Candyman.
I'm Candyman? Yeah. Oh, no. That's that didn't go the direction. That didn't go the direction I'd liked it to go. And so that's how all the people that need to hear the show will find out about the show. They'll see it written down because you did it, because Bill Gates tells jokes or something in there. I'm not as good as Basil with this rant stuff, especially when I have a 5-year-old distracting the show, which, you gotta love it. Gotta love it. If Basil had a child constantly budging in, not the Monties, because cats,
dogs.
Dogs. I mean, Cody almost took down the green screen here today, so there's that.
Yeah, but you can't even see him because
Yeah. We need to take him out. Cody needs to go potty, so we got to wrap it up here. Okay, what am I doing? Okay, yes, do that or don't do that. You just share the show. Share the show with somebody. Just do it. Do it in any way, shape, or form. We call it rattling cages. And here's what you do: you walk right up to him. Hey, stop doing it. Hey, over here, Cody. Yeah, you walk right up to him. You grab him by the cage and you shake him.
The end of the world occurred pretty much as we had predicted.
I want to shake things up, stir up some controversy, rattle a few cages. Hey, stop that! Don't ever silence me. I'm the last angry man, a crusader for the little guy. Leave the bird alone. Never. Rattle a few cages. Rattle a few cages.
The human race will have every opportunity to improve.
And if they don't?
Ask Noah.
Yeah, ask Noah. And yeah, my daughter brought a, can I see it? Show the people. This is called the Fuzz Face. It's a guitar pedal. It was made famous by Jimi Hendrix there. And I got this in Japan, what was it, 1997 or something like that? Vintage pedals, boutique vintage. The Fuzz Face. Made in England. Talk about something cooler. What's cool? What's cooler than Fuzz Face?
The way you have your glasses on, your sunnies on.
Oh yeah, my sunnies on. Yeah, that's right. There you go. All right, everybody. We'll see you guys next Wednesday. Thank you very much for this episode. Appreciate it. Have an awesome weekend. Happy Father's Day, and we'll see you on episode 499. But until then, think outside the cage. Bye-bye.
I'll keep you warm and safe in my people's zoo.
Remember, reality is an illusion. The universe is a hologram. Buy gold. Buy!
Don't even get me started on bidets, man. Bidets, man. Bidets, man. I'm telling you, you were living the life, man. Bidets.
When they come to you and talk about big spenders, let them know. Almost $2 trillion in deficit reduction. I don't want to hear any more of these lies. Almost $2 trillion. We're changing people's lives. Deficit reduction. Let them know about big spenders. About big spenders. I don't want to hear any more of these lies. About big spenders.
CanaryCryRadio.com/support